Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan. So we have a fun episode ahead today. Um, I wanted to make it a fun, exciting episode because these last few podcasts, I feel we've been pretty down on the Blackhawks. But you know what? To start things off, before we get into the fun activities, let's touch on the Blackhawks. We haven't talked about them on the podcast in a couple of weeks. We had Lauren Campbell on to talk about the Bruins. That was a fun podcast. You should check that out. And then we had the podcast with Scott Powers, which you can make, but Reagan was there for. So, but we really haven't had a podcast where we just talked about the Blackhawks, I think, for a couple of weeks now. So we'll quickly touch on the couple games that have been played since, because obviously not much has happened because of Christmas break. But what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the ugly first with that St. Louis game?
Yeah. I mean, they had a rough back-to-back like that whole week was weird, right? Because they win a really good 3-2 game against Colorado.
That was probably the most fun game all year. And the Toronto game, yeah.
Yeah. And then that's a great win. We caught them on a good night because they didn't have Makar, but like you can look at the injuries we have. Like every team has injuries.
Even then, man, Colorado's so good.
Oh, they're cracked. They scored 2 power play goals in like 20 seconds that game, and I was like, all right, here we go. And then they battled back. Reichel got a big goal. It's good stuff. And then you get to that back-to-back. 2 really bad third periods, I think, is all I really want to say about that, because I feel like the first 4. This is the thing with this Hawks team, and like I'll get into it when we talk about the Winnipeg game a little bit, but like they're not a third period hockey team, winning or losing. So I think I've seen less than a handful of third periods they've gotten up for, and unfortunately, both of the ones they didn't were St. Louis and Montreal. Like they just bad
Stinkers.
third periods, bad brain fart goals. Arvid Soderblom has completely lost his confidence, and at this point, like I can't even blame the guy. He faced 20 shots in the third period against St. Louis, but yeah, I mean, obviously Bedard got the lacrosse goal in the St. Louis game. That was sick.
It's like you know what, for Bedard, that's gonna be like Ovechkin's goal that he got in his first year. Like everyone's gonna remember that goal forever, but I think as Blackhawks fans and even Connor Bedard himself, he's gonna be pissed off about that loss and that collapse and not really care much about the goal.
Oh yeah, I think I said to Ben, this is gonna be like when people ask Matthews about his 4-goal game, and like it's like, oh yeah,
that's another awesome. Good one. That's another good one.
They lost.
We still lost. Yeah.
Gives a crap, really. But I feel like that's the first of many, and like that's the first time he's ever tried to attempt that in game, and I feel like that was a very good time to attempt it. Falk and Krug were kind of just giving him all the space behind the net, like, and this kid's got wicked. Like that puck is up and in the net within a second. It's insane how quick he just lifts it and fucking throws it in. And then obviously, like through the break, he clearly still held that confidence. Got off the schneid at the UC in the Winnipeg game. He hadn't scored since November 4th there, and of course he gets the first goal, which I think it does not get enough credit. Like people, I think we're worried about Bedard getting those greasy goals, but like we saw it in junior, this guy goes to the net. So, and he's strong on the puck. He's creative with the puck. And I feel like that all was on display on that first goal. And then the second goal, he just said, you guys are actually going to give me that much space in 3-on-3. That's fucking hilarious. Like, I watch that goal back every time, and I'm like, what the hell is Winnipeg doing? Scheifele's not skating, and then Morrissey and whoever the other forward is are just standing there. Like,
wow, what a surprise.
I don't know. I'd collapse on the only good offensive force on the Blackhawks, but just sniping that on Hellebuck, doing the Vince Carter celebration, like they needed a good win like that.
Rockstar shit, yeah.
Especially after shit, dude. Fucking rockstar shit. And first overtime winner, first goal for him in the third period of overtime, which I think is hilarious because he's got 15. So, like, I think someone said it best: if you're going to a Hawks game, better get there early because he scores in the first usually. So, but yeah, like you take the good with the bad, and that's kind of all I have to say about the Hawks. I don't know what do you got to say about them?
Yeah, well, with the Blackhawks, I think just in general, not a great third period team. So it's not too surprising that Bedard didn't have a goal into the third and overtime. But I mean, he picked a great time to do it. Like we brought up the Colorado game, that was a great win. Like if it had like a playoff atmosphere, I think the awesome thing about the games this year is that they're sellout crowds, and it seems like I have Ben Pope's tweet notifications on, and he's always big into the show up, like the audience numbers, and it seems like every game passing that the turnouts are getting bigger because Connor Bedard just him alone as like single-handedly getting those ticket sales through the roof. People want to come and watch him, and he's delivered. That win against Colorado was so great. I mean, yeah, he gave up 2 power play goals, but you held one of the best teams in the NHL to 0 5-on-5 goals. I think that's a huge win you can build off, obviously. Bedard's been so, like, I don't even know how to describe how great he's been. I think he's exceeded everyone's expectations. There's a reason why he went first overall. There's a reason why he was hyped so much by these media outlets like ESPN. Like, he's delivered. I think there was a little bit of it too much, but I think once that's kind of settled down and Connor Bedard is just playing, doing his thing, we all know why he's the next superstar, the next big thing. He already is the big thing. And great one against Colorado. Peter Mrazek has also been great as well. Montreal, whatever. Like, you had a 2-0 lead and then you blew it. Fine, whatever. My big thing is with the St. Louis game. You made me believe that they're gonna win that game because 5-2 shorthanded goal, just how St. Louis was playing, like that should have been wrapped in the bag.
Yeah.
And it's not like it was early in the third period. Like they were almost at the halfway mark, up 3 goals, and then just
Oh, it was like 3 goals in 2
Yeah.
minutes. It was terrible. Like
Mhm.
it was almost like as soon as the 4th goal went in, I think everyone in their mind was like, all right, so when's the 5th goal going in? And then it went in the next fucking shift. And it was just like, okay,
Yeah.
anything was gonna be that soon. But like, let's calm down here. And then the 6th goal goes in from Falk, and it's just like I know he's been getting peppered, but like, dude,
you need a
stop that.
save.
You
there.
gotta
Yeah.
stop that.
There's no
Yeah.
excuse. I make that save. Sorry.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But I was also gonna say another thing. Shout out Dickinson, new career high in goals. I think he's got 11
Already,
now.
and there's still over half the season to go.
Hell yeah! Like,
And he set that last year too. Like the Bedard, amazing, but we need more support for Bedard. We need to, with this team, we need to start trimming the fat. We need to get rid of players that aren't doing anything to help this team win. Colin Blackwell has come back to the lineup and he's been excellent. Like just a shot into an arm for this team that a lot of the times looks lifeless, looks lost. But players like Taylor Radish, like you need to go. If you can get a 7th-round pick for him, that's a win. Like you need to start identifying which players, can not only finish off the rest of the season and, have a role in this team, actually do something, but for the next year and potentially the year after that. Like Taylor Radish, no, like you got to get rid of him. And there's a bunch of other guys, like a few other guys you could do that too. But I think you got to look at Peter Mrazek. He's been excellent. You got to at least look at extending him for maybe another year or two. And same with Jason Dickinson, especially Jason Dickinson. This guy is only 28, 29. You give him 2 years until Bedard's first contract is up, and he's only going to be 30. And he's getting better everywhere. He looks like he gives a shit. Like
he's wearing the A, for God's sake. Like he's a leader on the team.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring up too. He's a leader on this team. Him and Nick Foligno are saying this team needs to be better, and they're backing up their words, but there's a few other players that aren't. And I feel for the most part on this team, everyone at the least is adequate, but then there's a sore thumb, Taylor Radish. Like I said this, it's like you're looking at a nice little cottage. There's a Lamborghini outside. There's the hot tub outside. That's Connor Bedard. That's pretty cool. But then you got a nice little cottage. Not like a huge mansion. And then there's a dead body in the basement, and that's
Oh God.
Yeah. And defense, like we rag on Seth Jones all the time, but I think they're still missing him. Connor Murphy,
Murphy's looked better the last week.
Yeah,
I will say that he had a really good game against Winnipeg.
I think you got to look at trading him, not just because he's bad, but I also feel you got to do him the favor. He's been on this team since its downturn. He's been here far and away the longest out of any Blackhawks player, like the longest tenured. I'm pretty sure I saw it's like him from 2017, and then 2021 it's like Entwistle, Kurashev, and Reese Johnson. Just to show you how much ripping down the studs they've done the past couple of years, and that goes back to my point. You gotta keep some players for next year. You sold off all your pieces. You can't really do that again this year. Like I think they'll make a couple of trades, minor trades, but in terms of trading away like a Max Domi, a Jake McCabe, and a Sam Lafferty, you're not doing that this year unless you get a 1st-round pick for Dickinson or whatever.
Yeah, We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I mean,
There's still a couple months to go.
Yeah, Davidson already said he's not even going to sell like that.
That's good.
Mainly because he doesn't have anything to sell.
They don't really have that.
You need to realize that. Like the stuff the stuff that would get him value, you either don't want to trade or they're too young. Like obviously, if you wanted to get something, you could probably trade Reichel and get a player, but like no one's gonna do that. Why would you do that? Wait,
and don't sell him at a low value.
Yeah, we talked about this with Reichel. Like if he's like this time next year, yeah, we should probably start looking at other options. But like he's got the season to figure it out. It also doesn't help when the coach puts him with two fucking grinders in the
like at the beginning of this. Yeah, I was gonna say at the beginning of the season, I kind of thought like Luke Richardson gave him everything to do, but at this point, with this team so depleted, just let him play on the first line. He's
not even on the power play. Like, what are we doing?
That's frustrating. I mean, every coach is like that. They're always gonna have their biases and stuff, but that is frustrating, especially with the lack of depth on this team. Just let Reichel play with Bedard.
Your biases should be towards making these kids better because they're gonna make you look better, not putting one of their better prospects in the doghouse because he doesn't play the way you want him to play. Newsflash, that's not the type of player he is. They want him to be Brandon Hagel. He's not that. He's not that type of player. They want him to be this checking, grinding, going to go get the puck. Like, I don't know why Luke Richardson in his head imagines him being Zach Hyman. Like, that's what he wants him to be. That's not the type of player that he's going to be. He's going to be the guy who's skating just as fast as Bedard up the ice, controlling the puck. And like we've seen moments and flashes, like he's starting to figure it out a little bit. Like I feel like his vision's gotten a lot better at picking pucks off over the middle and whatnot. But like, what has Anthony Beauvillier, like that whole line of Beauvillier, Johnson, and Radish?
Johnson hasn't been good this year.
And they get 15 minutes a night. There's no effing excuse, especially in a rebuild when this team is not good already. It's whatever though. Like. He's not gonna fucking develop, and then they're gonna wonder why. And Davidson's gonna have to go look at his coach and be like, "You didn't effing play him. That's why."
But and that's the frustrating part. But then they'll play Arvid Soderblom and still keep him up and have no inkling to send him down or find another goalie is the frustrating thing.
Yeah, really like Michael Hutchinson's on waivers today. If like I would put a claim on him just to give Soderblom a reset or give him some days off. Like. I got to imagine Soderblom gets one of these next two games against Dallas. Like they had 2 games in Dallas back to back, which is like pandemic days. It's weird.
Yeah.
But
baseball schedule.
Yeah. They're not even back to back. They have a day off in between, which is even weirder. But I gotta think Soderblom gets one of those games. But like he's done nothing to make me think he can win a game.
No,
it's not even stop pucks anymore. Like he can't win.
Yeah, it's one thing to let in the There's still could have been a chance where he let in 4 or 5 goals against the Blues, but still could have pulled out a big win. Like he could have made that save on Justin Falk.
He could have been the one to shut the door, but
to stop the bleeding, but he couldn't even do that. Yeah,
or he'll get the team behind too fast. I don't know, man. I think the most damning part of all of it is that this management group thought this guy was a potential number 1. That scares me. Because what are you seeing in these players that makes you think that this guy is translating to the NHL level?
And granted, coming into the season, there is reason, it's so hard nowadays in the NHL to find that Vasilevsky, find that Hellebuck. If you don't have that, then you just have an above-average goalie. You have a Aiden Hill or Darcy Kemper. I'm pretty sure that's what they were thinking more of the lines, but there's nothing. This year, he's shown nothing. He had a few good games at the start, but that's about it. 33 games played in his career, only 4 wins. And granted, this team has sucked ass the couple of years he's been up, but he has done himself. He hasn't helped at all for that cause.
He's let up 3 goals in every game this year, at least. It's not okay, honestly, at this point.
No. And
any other team, they would be this fan base is already screaming for it, but any other fan base, I feel like this guy's either in Rockford or he's traded. But since Davidson's preaching this long game approach and they're already punting the season, basically, they're not going to do shit, which is extremely unfortunate. But you can't go into this offseason thinking that you're good at goalie. You need to go get a goalie this offseason. whether it's the pair of Mrazek or just to have depth like Detroit did with like Reimer and all them and Lyon or whatever. So they had 3 of them, I think. But got to do something.
Just even get minute eaters. Like you can't get any worse than what Soderblom is doing right now. Just get guys that are veterans, been around. Like maybe they're still not great, but you're not letting a 24-year-old goalie get his confidence rock and shelled every night and not helping him. Like,
yep,
Peter Mrazek has done his job. 9 wins in 22 games. Like,
Peter Mrazek's got like a 912 save percentage. Like he's been tremendous. It's that best he's looked since pre-COVID. If I can remember from looking at his like career stats, he's been amazing. Arguably the second best player on the Blackhawks. If we really think,
he is. Yeah, he is. In regard, make this team watchable.
Oh yeah,
they do the heavy lifting for that.
I really want to know if he has a win with less than 30 saves, because I think every win he's had to just absolutely carry in the third period.
Yeah.
Granted, except this Winnipeg game, which I did want to mention, like that was one of the better third periods they played all year. They pushed the pressure. They had Winnipeg on their heels most of that fucking period. They limited the chances that were coming around Mrazek. I know late in the period it got a little hectic, but like I don't know, for a solid 15 minutes in the third, Hawks were controlling pace, and I was looking around. I was like, they don't do this, like especially in a tied hockey game in the third. Are you kidding me? But like, hey man, it's games like that they need to build off of.
That's games I'm fine with them losing, especially how Winnipeg has been doing this year.
But they won, so gotta love it. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about the Hawks, though. Like same old. Yeah, one last note. Also, love that we're the reason the Avs are going ape shit now.
Oh, I know.
Like, the Avs are in fuck you mode now because they lost to the Blackhawks. So you're welcome, rest of the league.
Feels like the Blackhawks have done that a couple times in the past couple years, because I remember they beat the Oilers. Yeah, they beat the Oilers. They beat them, and then they fired Tippett, and then they got Woodcroft. And
I forgot they fired Tippett. Oh my god. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And surely they have kept Jay Woodcroft since, and they haven't done the same thing where they had to fire a coach and then
they did it with okay. Well, if you want to go even further, like we definitely contributed to Craig Berube getting canned because they lost that week. They should have got shut out by the Hawks, so they didn't let up a fucking 3-on-1 shorthanded. But like that should have been a shutout from Mrazek. I was at that game. They played so well, but yeah, like people don't like losing to this bad Hawks team right now.
I mean, I wouldn't either. I'd be pissed too. I
on paper, they're terrible, and on the ice, they're terrible. They're an AHL team outside of 5 players.
Yeah,
call it like you see it. It's what it is. So, shame on you, Dallas, if you lose one of these next 2 games, and I will be laughing if you do. I also thank God the Hawks are starting to like play well against their division opponents, because at one point this year they were getting outscored 15-1 against them, and I was just like, this can't be the trend this year, guys. Like you got to play well against the guys you play 4 times a year. And granted, like they played well against competed against St. Louis. I won't say they played well the second time. Colorado, they played way better the second time. Winnipeg, they played. I'd argue they played Winnipeg well both times. I just think the first time they were out of gas. Minnesota, they got to figure it out against. But
and then seems like Minnesota the past few years has given them a lot of trouble.
It's because they play a completely different style of hockey that they're not accustomed to. Like that physical grinding, like we're just gonna fucking throw it to the wall and we're gonna beat you down for 60 minutes. Like they can't play that style. They've never been able to play that style, even when they had Kane and Taves, and they were like, obviously when they were really good, they could, but like the last 7 years or so, they haven't been able to play that style. And it seems like that's why they couldn't beat the Flyers for the longest time, because the Flyers always play that way. And
the Broad Street Bullies.
Hell, like Carolina plays that way to an extent. That's why they're not the best against Carolina normally. Like they're not good against those hard checking teams. All right, another good example I feel like is LA. Just can't play LA well for some reason. Hell, even Winnipeg to an extent until this year, I feel like Winnipeg runs their shit usually, and they're not even like a defensively inclined team. It's just they're huge.
They're big boys.
Which is why like I can't even blame Davidson, and he looks at Lindstrom and he's just like, I can get a 6'5" forward in the system. Like, let's just do it.
Well, enough talking about it now. Like the Blackhawks, they are that meme of the guys in the bus with one with the sun shining and then the other dark. It's like, oh, we still have 50 games left or whatever. And it's like, oh, we have 50 games left. Like there's still like, oh, we still have 50 games to go. It's gonna be a long season. Or you could look at it as, well, season's lost cause, but Bedard's doing well, Mrazek's doing well. Maybe we could get a jump start a few other guys like Reichel and Korchinski. Oh, let's wrap up the Blackhawks here. Let's go on to, you could have brought it up. This team needs more big players in their system. Connor Bedard, even though he is 5'10", 5'11", he plays like a guy who is 6'2", 6'3". And as much as I love Nazar, as much as I love Oliver Moore, those guys are sub 6 feet. We need to get some like 6'2" big guys on this team. Not saying that's all they should be looking for is just size, but if there's a guy at the top of the class that's big, and you know you've got a few other guys that are in there, but maybe not as big, that's what you got to prioritize.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Caden Lindstrom's game. He's plays like Quentin Byfield. Like that's what I see when I see that kid play. There's obviously the group that are going to be like, this is like taking Doc again, but I think he's producing way more at an offensive level than Doc did his draft year. And on top of that, this guy's a goal scorer. So Doc was strictly a playmaker. Like I remember when he got drafted, I was like, this guy's 6'4" Nick Schmaltz. Bet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You could ask my friends, said that night of the draft 2019, pretty true to the day, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that kid's game, and if they're picking like 2 through 5, I would, unless they like the defenseman or they like Demidov or something, I would think he's at the top of their list. Because the kid can skate too, which is a big thing. Like usually it's like, oh, he's 6'5", but his skating is adequate.
He's Michael Rasmussen.
He's a pretty good skater.
Well,
so
yeah.
like it took Rasmussen 8 years to finally develop into like a middle 6 forward. So I don't think that's going to be the case with this kid.
Team. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's again, if you get the first overall pick, Celebrini, not a big guy, but he's just so special. So
you could go get size in another way if you get Celebrini. Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, at the end of the, again, like it's always skill you want to go after. You don't want to just go after size for the sake of size. But again, there's after the number 1, there's not really a consensus on who's the number 2 guy. Like they could go, is it Lev Shunov, the right-handed defender? Like that would be a great way to kind of put the finishing touches on the defense for the Blackhawks. Like they have plenty of, like, I like how their defense is constructed. Like they have big guys, all left-handed shots. They even have Sam Renzel, who's looked good in the World Juniors. But I think having another right-handed piece for the future, like Lev Shunov, that would help a lot and really put the finishing touches on it.
I was just saying, this is a deep defenseman class. Like even if you don't go, like you can go, let's say they're picking 4th, like. There's guys like Sam Dickinson. There's guys like
Sam Dickinson. Let's go,
dude. Double Dickinsons. That'd be awesome. But Anton Silyev's a really big defenseman. I think he's like 6'7". Like he's menace on the ice. Like it'd be like him and Vlasic on the same pairing. Like you're just not getting past that. There's offensively inclined defenseman like I don't know how to say his name.
Buum, I think.
Buum? Yeah. He's highly offensive. The Hudson brother's really good. Juracek's brother's really good. Perrick's been a fun watch as an offensive defenseman. He's like 5'10" though, so like I don't know how much Davidson's going to want that.
Think they'll do that. Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Kiviharu 2 years ago was the highest.
He was supposed to go number 1. He's like Aturatu.
I was gonna say he's like that or like Timothy Liljegren or something. Like both guys who just like if you talk to someone in 2015, they thought Timothy Liljegren was gonna be a top 5 pick.
I remember that.
And then he got pneumonia or whatever, or mono or something, and fucked this whole season up. I don't think that's the case with Kiviharu. I just think this is a ridiculous defenseman class, and he's just getting lost in the shuffle, which is gonna help some team. Maybe it's the Blackhawks. I don't know. Like that Tampa pick just screams defenseman to me. I don't know.
I feel
unless they love Lev Shunov or Silyev or something, obviously.
Yeah, I think the dream is kind of like get Celebrini number 1 and then maybe get an Adam Juracek number, mid-teens or whatever that Tampa pick is.
That'd be a great class right there. Like, hats off to Davidson if that's your first 2 picks. And the thing is, if they go defenseman with that first pick, Tampa pick, you could still get some good forwards. Like this is going to be a class where some forwards going to drop that definitely should not, just because there's so many defensemen. there's like two sides. There's like two demons in me. There's the one where they have like
The two wolves
Celebrini or
inside you,
something,
yeah.
and they go take like you said, it's like Celebrini, Juracek, or Demidov, Peric, or something. But then there's a part of me that's like, Ryder Ritchie really seems like a Kyle Davidson player. Like that guy has one of the biggest motors in the draft. I think he's 6 foot, right-handed shot center, can play wing also.
Oh yeah, that sounds like their second round pick if he's not a first rounder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Like if they're picking in the 20s and they picked a defenseman first, like that seems like a Davidson pick. So like this draft's gonna have him salivating. I feel like there's a lot of players that fit his at least the last 2 drafts how he's picked. Like it could be different this time because he's kind of gotten those sub 6 foot forwards, but we'll see.
Yeah, looking at Caden Lindstrom on pace for almost 60 goals in the WHL and
Beast.
6'5", 6'4", 6'5". Yeah,
and he's gonna fill out his frame too, like Byfield did.
Yeah, might need again. We always talk about this with bigger players. They need a few years to fill out their frame. Like look at Tage Thompson. How many years did it take for him to finally put it all together?
5.
Yeah, Quentin Byfield. Like he got drafted in 2020, and he's now just putting it together, albeit having a great season. So you got to give patience to these guys to really fill out their frames. And as much as I love more Nazar, like I don't think Nazar is going to be in center. Like get as many centers as you can. And if one of them has to move the wing, fine. I'd rather that and be the other way around, having too many wingers. Like it's harder to go from wing to center than center to wing.
I feel like that's going to give him a lot of flexibility too, because Nazar has proven he can play center in college, and he's playing center right now internationally. If anything, I feel like putting more speed on the wing would be nasty.
Well,
like,
that's
just tell him go north south with Bedard, bud. Like just go, or just put him in Nazar. Like those two fucking bullet trains running up the ice. That'd be insane. Like I'm watching Nazar all tournament. This guy's vision's insane, and clearly he's played with Brindley 2 years now, so he's got a little bit of chemistry with him. But like, if this is what he does once he gets chemistry and gets confidence, like, dude, sling that pass to Bedard and he's gonna fucking bury it. That's all I know. Just like Brindley's burying him in the tournament. Also, 6 primary assists is awesome, and I think he's second in the tournament in like high slot pass chances or something like that. I forget what the stat was.
He's doing okay. I would.
His playmaking ability has been insane to start this tournament.
And like going back to Connor Bedard, it's just he's on pace for 35 plus goals. He's almost at a point per game pace with 0 help. It's the same thing as McDavid. Just get him adequate help. And this team, he's going to be unstoppable, which will make this team unstoppable in the future. Like people are realizing it. Like I saw the Steve Dangle tweet of, get this guy again. Same thing. Get this guy help, and he's already unstoppable. So like, I'm. There's still a lot of games to go in the season. I want to start getting into scouting again because I feel once the Blackhawks won the draft lottery last year, I'm like, okay, we got Bedard. I'm going to have fun watching this. But now as the season has gone on, I'm like, okay, I need another mode of entertainment to help me get through the season because it's going to be similar. They're going to have a similar finish to last year, and they're going to have another top 5 pick. So might as well start familiarizing myself with some of the names. And I've been starting to do it. We all know Macklin Celebrini is going to be number 1, but after that, there's not a consensus. Right now, I lean Levshunov. If they go number 2, and then you get a forward and whenever that Tampa pick is. But I mean, if they go Caden Lindstrom, I'm fine with that too. Like at the end of the day, they got to pick what they think is the best player available, and they have done that. But yeah,
they're quite literally is maybe 2 players I'd be mad with them taking in the top 5, and I feel like it would be Cole Eiserman strictly because Cole Eiserman kind of brings the same stuff that Bedard brings, and he's a sub 6 center or winger. I don't think they need another shooting sub 6 winger.
No.
Like, trust me, there are spots where there are spots where Eiserman is going to get picked and he's going to fit like a glove because they don't have a shooter. Like, if Eiserman ends up on the Kraken, that's a problem because the Kraken don't have an actual goal scorer like that. Like, teams that don't have that 40 goal scorer, they're going to love Eiserman.
I was thinking the Sharks.
Sharks would be great.
Yeah.
If they don't Sharks getting him or Demidov or Celebrini, that's what they need. Like they can't go defense this draft. And then I don't really like Berkeley Catan getting picked in the top 5. If they're picking like 8th, which I don't think they're going to be that low, maybe.
No, yeah.
But like even at 5, I wouldn't pick him. That feels like a Barrett Hayton pick to me. not saying they play the same way or anything. It just seems like you're reaching for the hot. Like we've seen it in previous drafts. You go for the high floor guy. It sometimes works, or it could be an Alex Turcotte. Like it could be an Anton Lindell, but it could be Turcotte. So
Hit and miss.
Davis is in a position where you need to swing. And I feel like the biggest swing in this draft would be Lindstrom if you're picking in the top 5 like that. Maybe Silyev too, which I feel like someone's going to take that chance just because 6'7" and he's already playing like a man in Russia. Like your teams are going to want that.
Mhm.
Like we saw that with Simashev this year, for God's sakes. He went 6.
Dude, he went 6. Yeah, that might be top
Like
5
Silyev's
there.
going to go top 5, and people
Mhm.
will not be like. I would not be surprised if there's 3 defensemen taken in the top 5 of this class. Like that's how good the
there's
top of the class
always
is.
a defenseman that goes in the top 5, and then if there's good defense, enough good defensemen, it's going to be more than that. It might be 3 or 4.
Well, like this class kind of reminds me of like the Owen Power class in a way, like when it was like Hammond Hughes and all that. Like, I'm not saying they're that level, but like it's some highly touted college defenseman. It's a highly touted Russian defenseman, or I guess European defenseman, kind of like Nemec. Like, I don't know. There's some. These are going to be some good defensive prospects. I got a feeling. And it's like 2 big gaps of good defensemen. Like you have like the top 5 gap, and then you have like 6 through 20, where there's probably like another 5 defensemen you could pick. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Don't know anything about goalies though. Like there's a single goalie in this class. There probably is, but not first round worthy. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna draft a goalie again because they're probably still holding up hope for Soderblom, but you also have Comesso in the minors, and Adam Gajan has been doing quite well for Slovakia.
Balling, bro.
Yeah. I think first game he had let in just one goal, and in the second game 36 save shutout. I think he let in 4 against Norway, but they won like 8-4, so they didn't really need him.
And then he plays the USA Sunday. So
did the US win today? I think they were playing Czechia.
Yeah, they won in a shootout. It was a barn burner.
Because last time I checked, it was tied 1-1, I think.
Yeah, Hrabal was giving him fits. The fucking really good goalie last year in the draft from Czechia. But there's a bunch of Hawks prospects in the game on Sunday. So if you're up at like 4 a.m. your time, you can go watch Martin Misiak versus Frank Nazar.
Hell yeah. and Adam Gajan. Yeah, Slovakia is a legit powerhouse. And
they're going to be a problem in like 5 years. Like,
and they don't even have
develop.
Yeah, and they don't even have even have Slavkovsky there. They don't have Nemec there, and I think they could both play in that tournament. But
is Mishar on that team?
Yeah, Mashar's on that team. Like they have guys, and
Pospisil's in the NHL. He's another Czech player. I don't know how old he is.
Sturback on their blue line. Like, man, they're kind of like them in Germany. Like they've really have had I guess like a rebirth renaissance the past few years with all the talent that's come in.
100%. It's gonna be exciting. Like I feel like in the next, like not this next Olympics, but the one after that, some country's gonna upset someone. Like there's gonna be a Denmark or a Switzerland or a Germany, and they're gonna come in and they're gonna have a nasty top 6 with a chip on their shoulder, and that's all it's gonna take. Or a goalie that's just gonna shut it down. Like maybe it's Adam Gajan for Slovakia. Who knows?
Pulling off a Yaroslav Halak in a 2010.
Dude,
for Team Slovakia and for the Blackhawks. Yeah.
Oh, geez. That guy got scored on by Jonathan Taves once upon a time.
And Patrick Sharp in that Olympic game, I'm pretty sure.
I forgot about that. I always forget Sharp has a gold medal. That's so awesome.
Speaking of which, I think that's a great way to segue into
let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, for this episode, originally I wanted to do some Reddit stories, but I'm like, you know what? I have family coming over soon. Well, like not soon, but I don't want to be going 2 hours here. So I was thinking we could save a whole entire episode for reading Reddit stories and just have one episode dedicated to that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Schmitty said he was going to save some stories as well. So what we're going to do for this episode, we're going to go through our international rosters, whether that's for the upcoming 2025 World Cup tournament if it happens, or the 2026 Olympics if that happens. And honestly, I think it's just a good thought exercise in general, because when we did it in 2021 when we thought they were going to the Olympics, and a lot has changed, and players have fallen off, players have retired, but then there's players that have come out of nowhere, and there's new young talent coming in. So
Okay. Screw my computer, because newsflash for all the listeners, mid podcast, my computer decided to have an aneurysm, and I lost my sheet with all the teams I made yesterday.
No!
So shooting from the hip with this one, that's gonna be fun.
I mean,
shit.
In all fairness, I didn't do one for Czechia because it was the U.S., Canada, Finland,
Czechia
Sweden.
could barely ice a full team. Like they're pretty,
yeah. Even
they're
for
almost there.
for Russia, they don't even have a full center core. But we'll still
Russia's
go
got
through
such
some of
good
their
wingers.
teams.
So like you could throw Bushnevich at center. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's what I
like.
did.
All right.
All right.
Well, I'll let you go first because I gotta fucking craft my team real quick. Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. I'll start. And I kind of did this last minute too. I did this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, the United States of America. Now, I am from Canada, but from like top to bottom, from forwards to defense to goalie, this looks like the best team so far. Or not even the best. They are the best team. What am I saying? So, did you do lines or did you just do like who was on the roster? Because I did lines.
I did lines, and that's why I want you to go first because I'm gonna craft them real quick.
Okay.
Hold on.
So I mean, there's so much talent. You can organize it in any which way you want to. This is how I did it. First line, I've got Matthew Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, and Tage Thompson.
Holy shit!
Just three big boys, that aren't fun to play against. Austin Matthews, the best American born player. You got Matthew Tkachuk, who might be the hardest player in the NHL to play against, and then Tage Thompson, who is 6'7". That's the well, this whole team is not going to be fun to play against. I think that line in particular. And again, like I thought about putting Jack Hughes with Austin Matthews, pairing Jack Hughes' speed playmaking with Matthews' shot, and then putting Tkachuk on the wing as well. Like you can do it any which way you want to, but I was just thinking all big boys, all skill boys on that first line: Tkachuk, Matthews, and Thompson. And then on my second line, I have Jack Hughes, Jack Eichel, and Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor has been probably the most underrated goal scorer the past couple years in the NHL. And again, like Jack Eichel, a solid playmaking center, and then putting Jack Hughes' skating speed and playmaking on the wing. Can't go wrong there. Third line, I put Jason Robertson, JT Miller, and Brock Besser. I feel with a lot of the teams, they always look for, players that play on the same team together. So that's where I put JT Miller and Brock Besser. Brock Besser is on a crazy goal scoring streak. He's right at the top of the NHL in goals. JT Miller has didn't JT Miller get 100 points? Like it shows you how much the depth on the US has changed. I would even say in the past 5 years, but particularly like the past 10, 15, 20 years.
100%.
And Jason Robertson, another guy, 100 plus points. Yeah, he's on your third line. Fourth line, I have Jake Gensel, Dylan Larkin, and Alex DeBrincat. Again, a line that could bring offense, but not a fun line to play against. Jake Gensel is not fun to play against. Dylan Larkin, speedy playmaker, and then Alex DeBrincat. Oh yeah, just another perennial 40-goal score guy on your fourth line. And then my extras, I got Brady Tkachuk and Clayton Keller.
Yeah, that's a nasty team.
It really is. Defense, Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox. You could argue 2 top 5 defensemen in the NHL on your first pairing. Maybe the best defensive pairing for the second pairing. You're not getting past this defensive pairing, Jacob Slavin and Charlie McAvoy. The depth, it's great. It's great depth, but there's like a number of guys you could put in. There's another number of guys, but I debate it. But for the third pairing, same thing again. 2 guys on the same team. I went with Keandre Miller and Jacob Trouba for the third pairing. And then an old defensive pairing, of course, Werenski and Jones. But I put them for the fourth. Goaltending, any one of these guys would easily be the number 1 goalie on Canada. I'm going with Hellebuyck as a starter. But, I mean, the way Demko is playing and the potential of Jake Onger, any one of those guys could be the starting goalie, and they'd be fine. Like, just an incredible team. If it were to start a day, like again, from forwards, defense, goaltending, all the depth, all the superstar power, I'd say the US are a favorite. And if you disagree, like they're right up there.
Oh yeah, like they might have the deepest team. Like I feel like every team, like when I was building all my rosters, I remember looking at them all and I was like, all right, each team has a specific weakness. I can't really point out the weakness.
There's no weakness for
as
the
of
US.
right now.
There's zero weakness. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing because I don't think they've had that luxury in a long time.
I don't think they ever have had a team this deep with this much talent.
All right. So my lineup's actually pretty close to yours, honestly. I made some changes, but
yeah.
So top line, I was thinking about putting Matthews with both Tkachuk brothers for a second, but
I did too. I did think about that. Yeah.
So I went Matthew Tkachuk, Matthews, and Jack Eichel on the top line.
That's cool.
Because I think Eichel would be a winger on this team. Second line, I was like, all right, we're gonna go speed, we're gonna go offense, we're gonna go goal scoring. I put Kyle Connor, Jack Hughes, and Jason Robertson together.
Hell yeah.
Just because like Robertson, I know he's not the fastest, but you put those two fucking bullet trains with him, it's not gonna matter.
Park his ass in front of the net, he'll bang.
Oh
goals. Yeah. Let him work down low. Yeah.
So, dude, like it just like third line was kind of just like my throw together line. Like I know for Team Canada, I tried to make like a Selke line because I think they're gonna need it.
Yeah, that's
like
what
a
I
shutdown
did.
line. But
that's what I did.
For US, I did JT Miller, Tage Thompson, and Clayton Keller. Just another goal scoring line. Like can't go wrong with it. And then my fourth line, I'm going extremely off of recency bias, but you're talking about keeping lines together. I just did DeBrincat, Larkin, Kane. Like I think if Kane keeps playing like this, he will be on that 2025 team and he will be the captain. So even if he's an extra, like I think he's on the team, but I have on the fourth line here. And then my extras are Gensel, Pavelski, and Tkachuk. I think Pavelski's also on that team. If it's next year, if we're talking 2025 specifically, I think he would be on that team. And then so for the defense, I went Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox. Like that's gross. Second pairing, I went Slave and McAvoy, just ultimate shutdown pair.
Black hole pairing.
Oh yeah, just like you're not scoring in that pairing. And like Canada's got that too. Trust me. Like they have. I made sure to bring that pairing with, but and then Luke Hughes and Jacob Chikrin are my third pair. I just kind of threw that together.
I thought I know Chikrin was born in the US, but I think he plays for Canada.
He plays for Canada. All right, well then swap Chikrin for Keandre Miller then. And then my extras were Jones and Zach Rowinski also. I don't want John Carlson on this team. I don't care how.
I don't think he'll make the team.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And then the
goalies he does play for Canada. Yeah, Chikrin, yeah.
All right, cool. Got it. All right. Did not know that. Thank you. And then also the goalies I had Hellebuck, Swayman, and Ottinger. I feel like that's pretty standard. You could throw Demko in there too, I think, but I think Swayman's going to win the Vezina this year, so he's kind of earned that spot.
Yeah, like that's
my picks, but yeah, he's earned that spot for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't go wrong, and that's how you know you have a good team is when you're leaving like legitimately good players off the team. Yeah, I went mostly all young. Like I didn't bring Cam Pavelski. I think they would bring at least one of them just for leadership and all that. But like they're still effective players. Cam Pavelski. It's not like Canada in 2006 bringing Chris Draper and Kurt Moltby on their team.
It's not like bringing fucking Ryan Callahan, that's for sure. Ugh.
And like Scott Hannon on that. Oh god, I can't believe they did that year. But
not great. Not great.
Again, 2006 was such a weird time because like you had the old guard of like Lemieux, Yzerman playing their last year, but then you had like young guys like Crosby, Ginla was there, and like it was just this weird transition phase. But they chose to go all old guys. But anyways. Yeah, US. I would pick them to win gold. Just again, so deep. Like injuries will happen, especially if we're talking about 2025, 2026. There's going to be some players that aren't on the team right now that we're not even thinking of that might make the team in the future. So, any closing thoughts, or we can move on to the next team here.
My only closing thought would just be I really want to know if there's a bet if all three Hughes brothers and both Tkachuks make the team.
I did. I think the Tkachuks will make the team together. I seriously considered putting Luke Hughes. Like their defense is really good too. Like Jake Sanderson, like even fucking Brock Faber can make this team.
Oh hell yeah! If Faber keeps it, like that's the thing. If some of these guys keep the trajectory up of what their careers are looking like Brock Faber's on this team in 2025. It's just it's a fact. Like there's a lot of these players where like, especially Luke Hughes, I'm just thinking like his game in 2 years is going to be so much better.
Oh yeah.
And he's already so good. Like
Mhm.
that's the crazy part. Like he's already got such good offensive instincts. That's what scares me. It's awesome.
Damn, couldn't have been me who had him first overall in 2021. Anyways, let's go on. Let's go on to Canada. Speaking of first overall picks, they got a few of them on this team. First line. So again, there's a big, especially with Canada, and they have done it in years past, where they will go with, like they did Chris Kunitz and Sidney Crosby, like they always do this. Like obviously they've done Getzlaff and Perry. Like
Dude, we just
so,
did
first
the
line,
top line.
you already know where I'm going. First line, Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, and Connor Bedard.
Did the exact same shit.
Did you actually?
I did.
Hell yeah.
It's like Hyman's on pace for 100 points. Fuck it.
That's the thing. It's not even like them. Like it's not even like Hyman's just like this complimentary. He's legitimately a good hockey player. Like he's on pace for 50 goals. I don't know if is he on pace for 100? Because if he is, that even justifies.
It's gotta be
my
close
selection
because
even
he was
more.
like the only guy scoring consistently for them all year.
Mm-hmm. I know he's on pace for He's on pace for like 55 goals, and I would assume like at least 80 points, like point per game player. He's definitely over point per game. So it's not even like, oh, we're bringing like, oh, just because he plays with like David. Like, no, Hyman is a good player in his own right. He goes to the net. He's going to do all the dirty work. Connor McDavid's speed and Connor Bedard's shot. That's going to be so much fun. Like the current, the now, McDavid, and the future of what Bedard could be. And he's already great. So second line, I went the all Nova Scotia line with Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, and Nathan McKinnon.
Pierce,
Again.
we have the exact same top six.
Do we?
We have the exact same top six.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, you're going old guard Crosby, McKinnon. Not really old guard, but he's not a young gun, especially at this point. Same with Brad
McKinnon's
Marchand.
the best player in the NHL right now. Like, fucking beast.
Yeah, that should speak to it that you have, former Hart winners, Stanley Cup champions, 100-point players on your second line, Hall of Famers. I'm curious if we went with the same third line, because my third line was Mark Stone, Braden Point, and Mitch Marner.
Your third line. That's not your third line. That's not your fucking third line. That's my third line too. Oh my god. I think we'll have different fourth lines, but
I think that's where
same top nine. That's so funny.
Yeah, I like that we're on the same wavelength there. But yeah, just the ultra. It's funny of thinking of like Braden Point and Mitch Marner, because like Mark Stone has been renowned for being a two-way dynamo. But like Braden Point and Mitch Marner, they can hold their own defense. Like, I mean, Mitch Marner, Magic Mitchy Marner, was a Selke finalist, and Braden Point, like he's a small guy, but he's hard to play against. Like, yeah, that's your shutdown line. That is like their 2010 line of Rick Nash, Mike Richards, and Jonathan Toews. Oh, fourth line, there's so many good players, but I went with all these three guys play for teams in Florida. I went with a past 40 goal scorer and has been getting better with each year. I went with Carter Verhaeghe. Steven Stamkos is the center, and another Florida Panther who is having a monster year and has also had great season in the past, especially being part of the Panthers, Sam Reinhart.
That's a hell of a line, honestly. I was thinking about bringing Verhaeghe. He didn't make my list, unfortunately.
You know who I thought about bringing? Brad Hankel.
Keeps it up, honestly.
And then my extras, ho-hum, Barzell, and Scheifele.
Oh, just two really fucking offensive dynamos, just like Canada's offense is so goofy. It's like
it's still the
players
best.
are gonna leave because like think of who you left off your list. You left like Robert Thomas off your list, Jonathan Marchessault.
I thought about Robert yeah. Oh my god, Marchessault, Stone, and Point would also been good. Oh yeah, you're so right. I thought about Jordan Kyrou too. Like they'll probably even bring John Tavares. Yeah, there's so many great talents. Yeah. Dylan Cousins, if he had like another, I know he's having a rough start, but hell, even if Dylan Cousins finishes strong and has another good year, that's another guy that could be on the Olympic team. Like, no, they're not short. Nick Suzuki's another guy. Yeah, there's playing names, but I just felt like in terms of how the line constructions are, like what roles they play. And skill, like that's what I went with my forwards.
Mm-hmm. No, it's understandable. It's a great forward core. Fucking, that's the luxury of Canada. You could kind of build the roster whatever way you wanted to build it because they're just so deep at forward and defense. Like
it's like that since like 2010. I remember Jeff Carter was left over off the 2010 Olympic roster. 2014 they left Claude Giroux after 2014 Olympic row. Like there's so many guys. It's unbelievable.
They're a
So you
problem.
have the same four core. What was your extras in your fourth line?
Oh yeah. So fourth line, I just kind of went like, you know how like my third line for the USA was just like let's get a goal scoring line in there. So
Yeah.
I went Barzal on the left, Robert Thomas in the middle, Steven Stamkos on the right. Just figured Stamkos
Mhm.
has to make this team. Like he has
He
to.
has to, just because he hasn't played at the Olympics. He has to.
Exactly.
This has to. Yeah. I
And
think you'll do that.
I almost put Stamkos on the top line, but then I remembered Zach Hyman. So I was
Zachary
like,
on the attackery, baby.
Zachary on the attacker needs the top line. But Marcia Show and Kyrie were my extras. I think Marcia Show
Yeah.
would get looks in the like the one I'm a little concerned with is like everyone's saying Marshawn won't even make the team if they do this. So I would just probably swap Marshawn with Marcia Show. Just another Marsh, you know.
Yeah.
But
And we ain't
like
talking Randy.
forward core for Canada is filthy. That's all
I
you need to
like
add.
I like the Marchessault one. Like I thought about him, but now the more I think about it, like Marchessault, Point, and Stone would also be a great line instead of
Oh
Marner,
hell
who
yeah,
we're
dude!
aware of.
Like if Marner's just a bum and you don't want him on your team, like just get it. Why don't you get a Conn Smythe one on your team instead? Like how about
Mhm.
that? Oh, the
Yeah.
luxury, dude. The luxury. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Defense again. It's same thing. Defensive pairings on the same team, even in some case former defensive pairings. First pairing, I got Devon Taves and Cale Makar. Second pairing, Shea Theodore and Alex Petrangelo. Third pairing, this is where it can kind of go different. I went with Josh Morrissey and Brandon Montour, and then the extra two I went with Mackenzie Weegar and Aaron Ekblad.
That's a solid ass decor, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like you said, Morrissey Montour for the third, right? That's like, imagine throwing that out there with like the McDavid line. Like they're just going to never let you touch the puck again.
Yeah.
Honestly. I kind of had the same approach to you with my defense. I had Taves Makar top pair, obviously. Kind of got to do that.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of having a shutdown pair because like I did that with the USA team. So I'm bringing Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech.
I remember in when we did this a couple years ago, that was my shutdown pairing.
That
So,
I remembered that, and I was just like, you know, even if it's third pair, like that's nasty.
Yeah.
And then because it's Canada, they're gonna bring veterans. I think it's Morrissey.
Oh, they'll bring Doughty. They're gonna bring Doughty.
Doughty's my extra. Yeah, Doughty's my extra.
I still think Pietrangelo makes it because he's been such a mainstay on the Olympic roster, and that's why I think.
And he's still good.
He's still good. And same with Tavares. I think he'll be like an extra guy, and he's still good as well. Like it's justified.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, Doughty is in.
I agree. Doughty's got it, and Doughty's been great this year too. Like that, the last 2 years, Doughty's been really good. So
yeah, even like them adding Doughty wouldn't be the end of the world. Again, it just speaks to the depth. Like I considered Owen Power could be in there. Morgan Riley is another guy. Like they're just defense is great. However, this next position, the goaltending, this
Question
is the weakest. Yeah, for the first time probably in Canadian history. Because
so ridiculous.
98 they had hi Stevie. They had Patrick Waugh. I think 2002. I think their goalies were Brodeur was a starter, but they had I think Curtis Joseph and Ed Belfour. 2006.
It's not fair, dude.
Yeah, 2006 they had Brodeur and Luongo. 2010 Luongo took over. Brodeur was a backup, and Fleury was the third goalie. 2014 Carey Price took over Roberto Luongo. I think Mike Smith was the third goalie, but if Crawford was healthy, I'm pretty sure he would have been the third goalie. 2018 still would have been Price. 2020, but these past few years, like the decline in Canadian goaltending has been crazy. I remember in 2021 when we did this, I'm pretty sure Binnington would have been the guy you go with. I didn't even have him on my roster this time, but I did go with the most.
Right?
Yeah. Jordan Binnington getting scored, the Michigan score on him was just
so much better.
Poetic.
Yeah. It makes it so much better.
Yeah. So I went with my starting goalie for Team Canada as the guy who had a .932 save percentage in last year's playoffs, Aiden Hill. I mean, it's no Hall of Fame goalie. I mean, it's no Carey Price, it's no Luongo, it's no Brodeur, but I mean, compared to what it was a couple years ago, like I'm more confident in Aiden Hill than like Jordan Binnington. So Aiden Hill is the number one, and he's having a good year this year too. Like he has I think a sub 2 goals against average and a .935.
The guy's good in structure, and Canada would definitely have structure. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Backup, I have Tristan Jarry again, another guy. Like at this point, it's just who's doing well right now. Tristan Jarry's doing well. I think Carter Hart's going to be the third guy because he does have history with Team Canada. I don't know, but I think Aiden Hill is going to be the guy.
So I had Hart as the starter. I think he's
Mhm.
had a very underrated year in Philly, honestly. And he's shown that he can also play very well when the defense isn't fucking like the ghost of Rasmus Ristolainen and Ivan Provorov. So, like, I think he would, and I think it's because of youth too. Like, they see this as like, well, we could make this our guy for the next 2 Olympics.
Yeah.
So, because Aiden
Him
Hill's
and
what,
Devin Levi.
28?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Aiden Hill, they could probably try him out. They'll definitely try him out the next World Cup Olympics, and they could probably do it the next one afterwards. But yeah.
Yeah, and then I had to put Shittington on the team. Like I couldn't think of another one. Like Jari's a good one. I didn't think about that. Devin Levi's another one, like you said, if they want to bring the youth. But
I mean, they could again if you want to go just cup winning Darcy Kemper. They could have got. I don't think. I think
Kemper, I didn't even think of Kemper. Shit.
Yeah, I think it's slim pickings. Yeah, I was even if Fleury's not retired, like I think he'd be in consideration, but he's not good, and I don't think he'll be there by the next tournament. So. But yeah, Aiden Hill's my goalie. I mean, they could really like if they just get average goaltending, they're fine.
Right?
Yeah,
they'll be fine. I'm not too worried about them right now.
I'm not either. Finland is next.
Can we do Sweden? Because I'm working on Finland right
now.
Okay. Sorry.
No, we'll do Sweden. I'll go with Sweden.
All right. Yeah, I have Sweden's ready. I've been trying to do them while we're talking, just so I'm not behind.
Good.
But I had them ready before, but.
It's that damn technology.
Dude, literally. What the fuck? All right.
So for Sweden, again, another good team. I wouldn't say really any holes. First line, Philip Forsberg, Elias Pettersson, William Nylander. I mean, you can put whoever with Pettersson and Nylander and you're fine, but Philip Forsberg ain't bad. Second line, Jesper Bratt, Mika Zibanejad, and Lucas Raymond. Third line, bottom six. It's not really shut down because these guys can provide plenty of offense, but I'm thinking more like, big, two-way minded. My third line, pretty good. Adrian Kempe, Joel Eriksson Ek, and Elias Lindholm. And then my fourth line, just pure speed, buck and chip in offensively. Andre Burakovsky, William Karlsson, and Victor Arvidsson. And then the extras I have are Michael Backlund and Rickard Rakell. Defense, I said fuck it. I put Hedman and Erik Karlsson together. Like, why not? Let's have fun.
Hell yeah.
Even if Hedman's still good, but and Karlsson, he's not been having a great year, but like just let them play together. Second pairing, Rasmus Dahlin, Rasmus Anderson, both the Rasmi together. Third pairing is your shutdown pairing, Matthias Ekholm and Hampus Lindholm. And then your extras, not too bad. Gustav Forsling and Jonas Brodin. Goalies is pretty good too. No more Henrik Lundqvist, but hey, last year's Vezina Trophy winner is not a bad replacement. Linus Ullmark, starting goalie. Jacob Markstrom second, and then Philip Gustafsson third.
Oh, I forgot about Gustafsson. I had to add him as my third. I was like, I know I'm missing a Swedish goalie, but yeah, that's the thing. I also forgot to put Nylander in, so I had to throw him in real quick. Mm-hmm. But Sweden's going to have an interesting team because they're kind of in a changing of the guard mode. Like, there's no Backstrom, there's no Sedins, obviously. It's the new team.
No Hjalmarsson, no Oduya, no Marcus Kruger.
How are they going to survive? Oh, man.
No Henrik Lundqvist either. Yeah.
Shit, yeah, no Hank. I mean, Ullmark's going to be a nice change of pace, I guess you could say. But they have a hell of a roster. Like, they're going to give teams fits. Straight up, and they all can play defense, which I feel like is the scary part. For my roster, I have the same top line: Forsberg, Pettersson, Nylander. That's just gross. Yeah. That's gross. Second line, I went. So the rest of my forward core is a little different. I went second line: Jesper Bratt, Mika Zibanejad, and Adrian Kempe. I think Kempe's proven he can play with those high end forwards.
Yeah.
And also, it's because I wanted to make another Selke line, and I think this one's fucking gross. It's Lindholm, Eriksson Ek, and Backlund. Just like, we're not letting you score. We're not letting you score. And then the fourth line, I went a little different. I got William Carlson on the wing, Lucas Raymond on the other wing, and I brought Leo
Mhm.
Carlson on the fourth line.
Ooh,
I think he's got to be there. I think he's got to be there because he's going to be the future
Ooh.
2C behind Pedersen
Mhm.
for the rest of international play.
Yeah, I could probably swap out Raquel with Carlson, but yeah, again, another team, a lot of depth.
Dude, like they got a lot of speed. They got a lot of two-way play. They're going to be a tough team.
Mhm.
Extras, I had Nyquist, Arvidsson, and Yarncroke. I think Yarncroke just so they could have, like, if they want to put another defensive forward in, they could do that.
Speedy guy, yeah.
Defensive, I went Dolly and Carlson, just full
Mhm.
offense. Second pair, I went Hedman, Rasmus Anderson. I feel like that could be an interesting pair. We've seen what Hedman can do with a strong, like, I feel like Anderson could be his Anton Strawman again, which would be a lot of fun. And in third pair, I went ultimate shutdown. I went Lindholm, Jonas Brodin. I feel like that's just.
I mean, yeah, you can
third pair out with the third line. Who's scoring? Like,
yeah, I mean, you can mix like one of those three, put those two together: Ekholm, Lindholm, and Brodin.
so good. Like, there's no reason for them to be that good. And then Olmark, Markstrom, Gustafsson, obviously, like that's who I'd roll out in net. And I feel like that's the obvious one to roll out, I guess. But oh well. That's my Sweden team. I really like the forward core on Sweden, though. I feel like that's extremely underrated. Like, it's not the star power, but all those guys put up 70, 80 points.
Speed, defense, yeah, they can hold with the best of them. Hang in there with the best of them. You're done with Finland? Can we go to Finland now,
yes,
or do you want to go right? Okay, let's do Finland then. I didn't do Czechia. Did you do Czechia? Because if you did, we can
I did, but it's gone now. So I can't
okay, we'll just do the big five then.
Yeah, we'll do
Sorry,
that
Czechia. We'll do that for another time. Finland. Hintz, Barkov, Rantanen first line. Second line, Teravainen, Aho, the Carolina Connection, and Patrick Laine. Third line, Kokniemi, Mikhail Granlund's having a great year with the Sharks. Eli Tolvanen, and then fourth line, your shutdown line, Luosterainen, Lundell, and Lehkonen, and then I have Erik Haula and Kapokako as extras. Defense is a little weak, but you also have Miro Heiskanen as your number one guy. You can do a lot worse than that with Yoki Haru. Second pairing, Issa Lundell, Rasmus Ristolainen. Third pairing, Oli Mada, Yanni Hakanpää, and then my extras are Nico Mikkola and Juuso Välimäki. Goaltending, again, pretty good number one goalie, UC Saros. That'll help out a lot. And then Korpisalo and Husso as backups. It's a great Finland team, but I feel that like the depth kind of trails off for the forwards. The defense is pretty weak, but I mean, UC Saros is a great goalie, and Finland is always in there, no matter what, no matter how strong or weak their team is. They're always in there. They always play a very tight defensive game. They always play little goal scoring games. They're always in the bronze medal game. It feels like they're always in there. Like they've been in the gold medal game a couple of times. Like they're going to be up there. They're going to be able to hang in with the top teams, even if they don't quite have the talent. Still a very good team, though.
Yeah, they still have, like, this is an NHL team for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, defense is a problem. Like, there needs to be another Finnish stud coming up the back end at some point because they need it. But yeah, I feel like you could do a lot of interesting things with this roster. So top six was exactly the same for me. I had Hintz, Barkov, Rantanen, and Teravainen, and Aho Laine. I feel like that's the best way you could rock that top six. Third line, I went Lehkonen, Kotkaniemi, Lundell, and then fourth line, I went Tolvanen, Haula, and Matias Maccelli. So
Maccelli, I did consider,
get another kid in there.
That's a good one,
Luosterainen and Armia were my extras. I didn't really put much thought into the extras. I guess you could bring like Kapanen if you want, but then the defenseman, I went Heiskanen and Välimäki because if I recall, Välimäki's playing top pair in Arizona right now, so. He's dealt with that responsibility.
Just put whoever with Heiskanen in your
phone. Honestly, you could put fucking Ristolainen with him and he'll perform. So Lundell, Yoki Haru, second pair, Mata, Ristolainen, third pair, and then Hakanpää and Mikkola over the extras. Saros, Korpisalo, and then I brought Lankin in because I think Lankin's earned that spot. Okay. He could bring the whole Nashville tandem.
2019 legend for Team Finland.
Hell yeah, 2021 Blackhawk legend. But
yeah, dude.
Yeah, they they don't have the best team, but like you got UC Saros and you have that group of forwards, like you take their power play is gonna be gross. So like if you take a penalty against them, they're gonna make your life hell. Like straight up. I don't know, man. Like they're gonna be a team, they're just above the Germany grade of teams where it's like, oh, they're going to be a problem. Like they're already a problem, but they're going to be more of a problem in 5 years because all these guys just get older and get more mature and add more to their game. Like, oh, it's gonna be a problem.
I was just like pulling, like, grab my charger from my bed, and I'm like reaching down to my giant like plug-in just so I could charge my phone at that 1%. So I'm just like doing all this stretching while you're talking, but
It's all good.
Last one, Team Russia. Russia is interesting because their trio of goalies and that's saying a lot because the U.S. has a very good trio of goalies, and you're leaving out Swayman. They easily have the best trio of goalies. They have the best goalie in the world, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, and Sorokin. Like, oh, and incredible. Like, biggest strength of that team. Russia is weird because a lot of their guys are older. They have horrible center depth. Their defense is, it's all right. So
it's better than it was like 5 years ago. I will say that much. Like
easily.
Their defense used to be Andrei Markov and his band of merry men. So they've come a long way in that regard, at least.
Yeah, it's adequate. But yeah, first line I went Ovechkin, Malkin, Kucherov. Second line went Panarin, Kuznetsov, and Kaprizov. I mean, the winger depth is very good. As third line, I got Nichushkin, Barbashev, and Svechnikov, and then fourth line, Kuzmenko, Buchnevich, Tarasenko, Buchnevich playing center. I don't know if they'll get someone from like the KHL to play at center, but these are all NHL guys. But speaking of guys from the KHL, I put Matvey Michkov for an extra 4 because why not? And then Kirill Marchenko as the other one. Defense, Sergachev and Orlov. Solid top pairing. Good two-way defensive pairing. Second pairing, Ivan Provorov, Alex Romanov. All right, it'll get the job done. Gavrikov and Zub, that's your shutdown pairing for the third pairing. And then Zadorov and Lyubushkin, another two shutdown defensemen. And of course, the great trio of goalies.
Three-headed monster in net. Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Yeah. What are your lines and pairings looking like for Russia?
So I'm just finishing them up now. I think for record you can kind of do whatever you want with it. So I just went crazy. I went Kaprizov, Malkin, Kucherov top line, then Panarin, Buchnevich, Svechnikov second line, Nichushkin, Kuznetsov, Ovechkin on the third line because I don't think Ovechkin's earned to be in the top 6 this year.
That is true. Yeah,
legendary he is. He has not played well this year. Then Mikheyev, Barbashev, and I put Mishkov in the lineup because I think in 2 years he's going to prove that he's better than Tarasenko or like Marchenko, who are my extras. Kuzmenko, I guess, is an extra too, but I don't think Kuzmenko cracks this roster. I had Sergachev and Provorov on the top pair. Second pair was Orlov and who's the other defenseman I'm missing? Where is he? Why is it not clicked? Oh, Zadorov. And then I had Mintyukov and Zub with Gavrikov and Romanov as the extras.
That's an interesting thing with Russia that, like, I was thinking about Simashev and you bring up Mintyukov. Like, if those guys really progress in the next year and a bit, like, they could be on that roster or at least be in consideration for it.
I think Mintyukov has already proven that, like, he's defensively sound in the NHL to the point to where he at least has to be an extra on the team.
Yeah.
But I think he should be playing minutes. Like, I don't think freaking Nikita Zaitsev or Alex Romanov.
I didn't even have Nikita Zaitsev on the roster, but yeah.
I just thought of the first Russian defenseman that came to mind. Like, you could bring guys like Kulikov or Lyubushkin too, I guess, if you want like extras. But that's the thing. Like, once you get to the bottom of Russia, they can kind of bring whatever plug they want. They got a bunch. So it just comes down to preference of the coach. And, actually, I'm throwing 45-year-old Pavel Datsyuk as an extra too, just in case.
No, hey, I'll one up you. I'm gonna bring back 43, 42, 41-year-old Ilya Kovalchuk, 40-year-old Ilya Kovalchuk, and we got three great goalies, but I think we should bring in 50-year-old Nikolai Habibulin.
Nah, bring Bobrovsky just as a toy, like just as a display piece. Like, bud, you're never getting in the lineup, but you can come.
Bobrovsky, he would. That's the thing. Like, even if they didn't have Sorokin or Shesterkin, like, they could have brought Bobrovsky and Varlamov, and that would still be.
They have Vasilevsky too, bro.
Like, yeah, and of course Vasilevsky.
Like, that's the problem. Russia's goalies are so deep. Like, I feel bad for guys like you said, because they're never gonna make it. Like, if they ever do international play, like, who's the third goalie you sit out? Vasilevsky maybe or Sorokin? Like, Because Shesterkin has to start, you have to think, unless it's Vasilevsky because of the cups. But
I still think they go Vasilevsky to start, yeah, because he has the most pedigree.
that's true. I mean, either way, like I would not like. They should just be lucky Russia's banned from fucking international play because this team would be a problem. We're never gonna see a Panarin.
Yeah, it sucks seeing that because like pretty much none of these players have anything to do with that stuff. But politics have never been a part of sports, guys.
No, never. Keep no soap operas, just hockey.
Even though we didn't do rosters for them, I still think there are a few more interesting countries like Czechia with like David Pasternak being on the team and a lot of the Czech talent. Like your defense, you'll have David Juracek too. I'm blanking out on a few other names, but there's names coming out. So sorry, Hronek. Yeah, Hronek would be good. I know.
I mean, Zaka, you got Herd. I mean, I said Hurdle already. You got Natchez, who would be great on that team. Like, they got a bunch of like middling guys. Like they have Rana. They're one of those teams where like if you sleep on them, they're gonna fuck your day up. And also they have David Pasternak, so like they could really fuck your day.
They'll stay in there.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make. It's good. Like that's the thing. Like even the teams that aren't deep, they have some kind of superstar to compensate for it. Like Germany's going to have Draisaitl and Stützle to throw out there. Like that's going to be a problem regardless of who you have on your team.
Yeah, that's another team I wanted to bring up. Germany. Yeah, like they find like Phil Grubauer is going to be their goal. That's pretty good. Moritz Seider is going to be your number one defense. Again, Leon Draisaitl, Tim Stützle is going to be your 1-2 punch at centers, and like you can bring. Yeah, they even have decent wingers now. Like Lucas Reichel's probably going to be on the team. JJ Peterka is going to be there too. Like they again, not the best team, but they're going to be there, and they're not going to be an easy win.
Another dark horse, Switzerland, because they're going to have Yossi, Hischier, Fiala, Meyer, Siegenthaler, Moser, Niederreiter, Kershev, Goat, Suter, Goat. Like they'll have players. They're not going to be a pushover like they used to.
Switzerland is always, at least for Canada, has always been a problem for. Switzerland's always been a problem for them. 2006, they shut them out 2-0. Freaking Martin Gerber had like a 50 save shutouts. And in the 2010 Olympics, in the preliminary rounds, they had to go to a shootout where Crosby got the shootout winner.
They'll have a Schmid in this one too. Like that's their
he's Swiss. Yeah, man, Switzerland. Wow, that's why I hate this stupid league. Stupid
we
commissioner.
Should be seeing this right now.
We should be seeing this right. We should have seen this 2 previous times. Like,
no, it's bullshit. Like we missed a generation's worth of international play, and I don't care how much money Bettman makes the league. I'm never going to forgive him for that.
No,
straight up. I feel like we talk about it once a month. It's
as we should. Like it's a crime.
Yeah, it's
terrorism.
Ooh, shout out Denmark too. Denmark would have Ehlers, Bjorkstrand,
Anderson's their goalie.
Anderson would be pretty solid in that. Yeah, like there's teams that are gonna have players. Slovakia is gonna be good in a couple years.
Slovakia's gonna be very good. Yeah.
Like once these kids aren't like 19 years old, like they're gonna be a fucking problem. Like
we're forgetting Adam Gayan's gonna be the starting goalie for Slovakia.
Hell yeah. He's gonna get an assist slinging it up to Slavkovsky. Let's go, baby.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's obviously like the top countries are the top countries, like Canada, US, Finland, Sweden, Russia. But then those it feels bad calling them secondary countries because like Czechia, Slovakia, like even Denmark, Switzerland, like that's what 9-10 countries there. Like there's no country I look at, I'm like, yeah, you don't belong here. Like each country at least has a few players that will help keep them in games. Freaking Latvia too. Yeah, like they'll find a way to bring a few players we've never heard of. Like there'll be another Christers Kozlovskis.
Netherlands could bring like Daniel Sprong. Like
yeah,
everyone's got a player, I feel like. Fuck it, we're bringing Australia. Nathan Walker's gonna carry his team to gold.
I would try to think of like an obscure country that
is Burakovsky Austrian?
No, I think he's born in Australia, but he plays for Sweden. Yeah, Marco Rossi for Austria.
Marco Rossi and Marco Kasper would be Austria. That'd be good. I'm also like the way I'm looking at this is I'm going on NHL 24 and it's like rating them, and Marco Rossi is rated 801 overall. So good for him.
Yeah.
But international play should be more than 4 teams at the end of the day. So Because all
Like, you
those
can make
really
it-
good Russians, like the one that's leading the league in scoring, he won't be there.
Yeah.
Panarin won't be there.
Yeah. Greatest goal scorer of all time. We won't even get to see him play at the Olympics again.
Fucking stupid. Jesus.
Yeah, it's. I don't even know what to say. Like we bring it up every month, and it's just like what the hell do you even say? Like
Yeah,
you're
not
not
an
making
international tournament without Kucherov and Pasternak. Like, give me a fucking break.
like you're making. Like, yeah, you're not making direct money off of it, but you're helping grow the sport, which in change will bring more money revenue into the NHL years down the line. Like all this league cares about is what they can make for money right now. And I mean, I got no problem with the ads. Like, you barely even notice the ads on the jerseys, but they did that because they could get
ads.
yeah, want to break from the but it's it's so stupid. Like they'll do anything for instant money, which I get. You got to make your money, but also you got to think about long term down the road the future of the sport, and they don't. They never do that. And the World Cup of Hockey that they're going to do in 2025, it's just going to be what, 5 countries? Not even like
4.
So stupid. 4 countries, yeah, even worse. When there's when we can make a case for potentially as many as 12 countries playing in the Olympics. So whatever though. What do we know? We don't work for the NHL. Clearly they know more than we do.
I don't give a shit. It's lying in your pockets. And
Yeah.
I'll be the first. I'll put it out there. I don't care. So John Tavares tearing his ACL in Russia set international play back 20 years. Set it back 20 fucking years. And it's unacceptable, honestly. That you're letting one freak injury control decades of growing the game.
Okay, players get injured in hockey all the time, so we just never play hockey again. Should we just cancel the NHL?
Might as well just stop. Might as well just stop skating entirely because injuries happen.
Yeah.
Right? So.
It's like they're like, oh, we'll go to the Olympics in 1990, and they're like, we need something bad to happen, please. And then that game, I'm pretty sure it was against Latvia, where John Tavares skating the boards, broke his leg or whatever, and they're like, oh, you don't have to go next time. And then they don't go in 2018, and they're like, oh, there's a stupid virus, stupid pandemic that happened. It happens only once every 100 years. We can use that excuse not to go. What's your excuse this time?
They don't have an excuse.
They don't have one this time. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I could have lived with them not going in 2022 had they got in 2018, and they're just like, yeah, we don't want to go COVID. Fine, whatever. Like 2018, there is no excuse not to go, and same with this time, and same with the World Cup of Hockey. Like, whatever.
Stupid.
we could go on talking about how stupid it is forever, but to wrap this video up, we're gonna do our predictions for 2024. So that'll be awards and who we think is gonna win the cup. So
hell yeah.
Do you want to go first? Which award do you want to start? It doesn't matter.
I feel like we should start with the Hart, just because I feel like we might have different.
This is a very interesting one this year because McDavid is not at McDavid.
He could be in it for all we know.
But yeah, by the end of the month, he might be back in lead scoring, and it's a mute point. But you know what? Right now, there's so many. Again, that's another thing. We're in such a golden era with all these players that are at the top and scoring so many superstars. But no, we would never want to market that to the rest of the world.
No, we don't need to. But so it's like a 3-man race for me right now because I think Kucherov's got a case, I think McKinnon's got a case, and I think Matthews has a case, especially if Matthews hits 70 this year, which he's on.
We've talked about Ovechkin being the greatest goal scorer. I saw something where Matthews has more goals than Ovechkin after, I think, like a certain amount of games. I forget what it was, but he's
at this point in Ovechkin's career, Matthews has more goals.
Yeah.
And that should scare people because Matthews has dealt with wrist injuries for the last 3 years and is doing this. So seems healthy now, and he's got like 30 goals in 30 games. He's fucking ridiculous. Like, he's on a higher pace than he was for when he got 60 2 years ago. But that's not my Hart Trophy winner. My Hart Trophy winner right now, especially with how the team has played, it has to be Nathan McKinnon. It has to be. Like, this dude is going to will this team to the playoffs, whether they like not even just the playoffs. He's going to will them to a deep playoff run, whether the lineup wants to or not. Because like that Devon Taves quote was damning, but all that's telling me is Devon Taves is saying what Nathan McKinnon wants to say.
Yeah.
And that the rest of the team needs to get it the fuck together.
We know how he operates.
He's like, I'm going Superman mode on you idiots until you figure it out. And as of right now, if we look at like the stats, I'm pretty sure he's like damn close to the top. Like, yeah, he's 2 points behind Kucherov. And there'll be some nights where it's just like, oh, this guy's gonna get 5 points. And there's
had 4 goals not too long ago. Like a few games
4
ago.
goals against freaking I don't even know who it was.
Ottawa. I mean, anyone could do that, but
yeah, it's Nathan McKinnon for me. Kucherov was a close second. Matthews was third, and then I also have McKinnon winning the Art Ross. I think he's gonna, if he can stay healthy, I think he's gonna pull away from Kucherov at some point.
I agree with McKinnon because you know what the Hart Trophy is, if not the best player in the NHL. It's very narrative driven. I'm looking at the top. Matthews won a Hart in 2022. Nikita Kucherov won a Hart in 2019. McDavid has won, I think, 2 or 3. They don't want to vote for the same player. Yeah, he should have like at least 5. Yeah. There's always voter fatigue, and to your point, guess who's never won a Hart? Nathan McKinnon. Now he's done pretty much everything that a player can do without winning a Hart in the NHL. He has 100-point seasons. I don't think he's gotten to 50 goals, but he's there.
Well, it's because he never plays a full 82 usually. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like last year he played 70 and he had 100. Like
71 games, 111 points. Like if he played 11 more games, he's at least he's probably 100, almost at 130.
If McDavid wasn't 2 points a game, that's the player we were talking about last year. But McDavid was 2 points a game. So like,
yeah,
nuts,
like
dude.
consistently right at like like 2017-18, 97 points, 2018-19, 99 points, 2019-20, before COVID stopped. That's 13 games missing, 93 points. Like he's done everything last year, 111 points. Yeah, he's only played 82 games 3 times. I don't know if he's on pace to do that this year, but he's healthy. He's putting up points. The Hart Trophy is largely media driven. I think Nathan McKinnon will get it if he keeps it up.
Yeah, like he's earned it, dude. And on top of this, like the Avs are having all these problems internally, and they're first in the division. So like, like he's still there. And like people forget, like this team has not had the captain for 2 years. Like Gabe Landeskog might not play hockey again.
I think that's kind of hurt them. That's hurt them a lot. Clearly.
Yeah, their voice is gone. Yeah. It's like when Seabrook left, and like it's like that's the guy who would calm down the hotheads. And it's not like fucking Landeskog saying it's whatever. The Avs are silly, and I think, like you said, McKinnon deserves his flowers this year, whether he wins the Art Ross or not. I feel like
I don't know if he wins the Art Ross, but Hart absolutely. Because I still think McDavid's going to pull something out of his ass where he gets the most points. But obviously the narrative of McKinnon, Colorado's kind of been in flux. They had a down year after winning the Cup. And now Nathan McKinnon wants to get his revenge and finally get a Hart. I think that's what will happen. Kucherov, Matthews, all very good candidates. I want to give a shout out to Quinn Hughes, who has 45 points in 36 games and is the captain leading the charge for a very good Vancouver team and is on pace for 103 points as a defenseman. I mean, I don't have his defensive numbers in front of him, but like he's playing enough minutes. His team is winning. He's putting up points. I mean, Erik Karlsson won the Norris with 100 points last year, and I think Quinn Hughes can do this. He's pretty much an assist per game player. So wanted to give Quinn Hughes in there, and that will kind of lead into I guess we could go on to the Norris now. That kind of segues in perfectly. Norris, yeah, I would give Quinn Hughes, but Cale Makar, if he keep, I think he's missed some time. Yeah, 41 points at 30 games. Good golly. Oh man. What do you think about that? What do you got?
It's a 2-man race, that's for sure.
Okay, Makar's on pace for 112 points over 82 games.
Not fair. Not a real player. And he's in our division. It's awesome. But I really just think Hughes has earned it this year. His defensive analytics have skyrocketed the last 2 years. He's not just an offensive defenseman, he's a shutdown defenseman as well. And I feel like he does not get enough credit in that portion of his game. And guess what? You can get that credit now that the dumb meatballs are going to see that you scored 100-something points. So,
Yeah.
and it's not like the Erik Karlsson 100 points where he can't play defense. Quinn Hughes is very adequate in his own end.
And also on a
if
good
not
team.
more. What? Oh, yeah, on a good team, yeah.
And another thing, narrative driven, Mikar's already won a Norris. Hughes hasn't. So
Yep. It's the Calder race all over again.
yeah, that's true.
5 years later, it's still the same two duking it out. It's awesome. Well, I guess Adam Fox is still in the mix too, but he got hurt this year, so he's kind of lacking just from shit injury luck. Dark horse, though, I will say Josh Morrissey has been fucking incredible this year. Like,
it seems like he's like last year he was great. Like I think he was in the top 5 for voting. Yeah, like I think he's just a good defenseman now. And he's just taking a longer time.
Every time the Hawks play him and I see that dude with the puck on his stick, I get scared.
He's gonna be on Team Canada.
Oh, 100%.
He's
Whether it's an extra or third pair, he's on the team. Has to be.
He's not gonna win it, but Dark Horse could at least get a nomination. This guy, I sung his praises back in 2018 at the draft. Noah Dobson on the New York Islanders. He's getting pretty much zero attention, but 34 points in 34 games.
And he's still solid as hell defensively.
Yeah, I mean, hate to be that guy, but I think we talk about what if scenarios with the Blackhawks a lot, like if they didn't make a trade but I feel in 2018, like I wonder what would have happened if they didn't pick Boqvist but went with like Dobson or even Bouchard. Like, they probably don't make the trade for Seth Jones.
I just don't get how Bowman went into a draft class that had 2 Seabrook clones and didn't come out with either of them.
Yeah.
Especially the year where Seabrook started declining and you realized how important that.
Yeah.
This was also the same draft class that had Adam Boqvist going like 4th for a year and then he started dropping. So like, what the hell do they know? So
I mean, I might know a thing or two about this whole scouting thing because I feel more often than not. Like I've always been big on Dobson and Bouchard, and
I was really high on Bouchard. I remember that. I was like, this dude's got Seabrook qualities, and it's worth taking at 8. He's just a big right shot. You can't those don't grow on trees. So what do? They take a bunch of short defensemen who can't play defense. Shout out Ian Mitchell. You're on waivers today, bud.
Yeah, that's right.
Nicholas,
I know.
Sniffed the NHL since COVID. Like, whatever.
Let's move on from that. Let's go from Norris to Vezina. Vezina is an interesting one. I think it's a more wide open discussion, but there are a few guys at the top. Vancouver again for me. They're doing so well this year. Thatcher, Demko as a name, but I'm probably gonna go Connor Hellebuyck. To me, Winnipeg and Vancouver are teams that are overperforming. It might just be good teams, at least for this year. Like being a good team for multiple years is one thing, but any team can be a good team for this year, especially in the case of Vancouver. Winnipeg has been good in the past before, so it's not too crazy to see them at the top like this. But Hellebuyck, Demko, I think you can go either or. If Aiden Hill was more healthy, he could probably work. Because I just don't think you'll have enough games, but like 193 goals against your average save percentage, 933.
So I am going off the grid with my Vezina pick. I was originally going to pick Swayman.
Swayman's another good one.
Now that I'm looking at it, and now that I'm watching how this team has played this year, specifically, how can you not give this to Cam Talbot?
That's what, yeah.
Like,
and that's another guy who could be on Team Canada.
I throw him on Team Canada. In 2025, if he keeps this up, yeah, he should be on the team, like as insurance. But he started 23 games. He's got 14 wins, 211 goals against, 924 save percentage, and he's 36. And he's got LA third in the division, and
the best division in the NHL. Yeah.
LA has been phenomenal. And we talked about it going into the offseason. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with their goaltending. Fucking Cam Talbot looks like 2017 Cam Talbot. It's awesome. And he didn't win the Vezina that year, and he fucking should have. He's going to start 60 games probably this year. Give him his flowers, please. You gave Fleury the Vezina when he was like 38. You could do
Yeah,
that.
speaking of flowers.
I mean, like, seriously, you can't throw age into this conversation and like be like he can't win because he's old, which like some people will say. And it's just like, dude, he's the best goalie in the NHL at the moment. That's not Aiden Hill because Aiden Hill's just lights out. But like you said, he's only started 15 games. Talbot's at 23, Hellebuyck's at 25, Demko's at 25, Bobrovsky's at 26, which he's actually having a very good year also.
It's on he's on that end of the year. He's due for a good year after he had a bad year, I guess. I don't know.
Also, shout out Joey Daccord. Joey Dacord's having a pretty good year for the Kraken. But
it's such a wide open, like there's not a clear cut favorite. Like
yeah,
Tristan Jarry can be in there too.
Jarry having a great year. But my hot take, that's my hot take. I'm going with Talbot. I just think if he keeps this up, how can you not? Because if they don't have him, is the way I'm looking at these awards is like, if they don't have this guy, where are they? And it's like, if they don't have Talbot, they're fucked. And like, you could say that for Hellebuyck too, obviously. You could say that for Demko, but
yeah.
Oh man, we saw this team last year. They couldn't stop a beach ball. They thought the Phoenix Copley was the fucking answer.
Yeah. And that's all LA really needs is a goalie because they're set everywhere else. Pardon me.
They traded
Cam Talbot's a good one.
Hill.
I think the GMs vote for the Vezina, so not like the media. So they kind of, I think they think differently. They look the media. Yeah, I think they think differently. I think they look. I think games played definitely has a factor in it. Like if you can play 65 games, maybe if you have like a 920 and like a 250 goal against average, like that could probably get you a Vezina, especially if you have 40 wins.
We remember what did Hellebuyck have, like 45 wins the year he won the Vezina? Like Jesus,
quite a few.
Yeah, like beast mode. And availability is the best ability or best ability. You know what I mean, or whatever that saying is. Like that, if you could play, that's such a huge. If you could just stay healthy and play,
we can play all right. You don't have to be amazing, but just play good.
Just be adequate. Play and well. Some of these guys do it, and then some. So, also shout out Connor Ingram. Connor Ingram's been.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, Arizona's like actually in a playoff hunt, which is crazy. I would still go Thatcher Demko though. Like again, he's got the games, he's got the wins, solid goals against average and save percentage, 3 shutouts, and like again, Canucks are over. I would say overperforming this year, but like they have good players on this team. It's not like too completely surprising that they're doing this well. But I think him and Hughes are a big reason why because of that. So those are the major ones like Hart, Norris, and the Vezina. I guess we could. I mean, Calder, obviously Brock Faber.
Name your Calder finalist. I feel like that's a better one because like we know who's winning.
We all know it's Brock Faber. Am I right, guys?
No, it's Marco Rossi.
No, it's Logan Cooley.
Best prospect in the world, baby.
Hell yeah.
But on the road, though, I think my finalists would be Bedard, Faber, and Luke Hughes at this point. I think that's
I don't think Marco Rossi is eligible for the Calder, is he?
That's stupid. He should be. I'm just happy Marco Rossi's playing well, man. That dude's been through hell.
I mean, I always hate the Masterton Trophy. It's like, oh, which person went through the most trauma? Let's give that to them. Let's compare each other's trauma. But like, I feel Rossi could be a good candidate for the Bill Masterton.
Well, hopefully someone doesn't have a stroke and plays again. Shout out Crystal Tang with the 6 assists a couple nights ago. Jesus.
First, I don't even think it was defenseman. Was it first player or first defenseman?
First player.
5 assists in one period. Like, whenever I hear those crazy offensive stats, I'm like, it didn't happen in the 80s with the crazy Oilers teams. Like, Paul Coffey didn't do that. Wayne Gretzky didn't do that once.
Gretzky didn't have 5 points assists in a period. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, that's what I
feel like one of those games against the fucking Plumbers, he did that.
But... Or even like Lemieux or Yager didn't do that in the early 90s.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
I'm so sure, pal.
Of course, the NHL faking history. They didn't want us to know that, so... What were we talking about again?
I don't know. Oh yeah,
Bill Master, Connor Finer. Yeah. I mean, Bedard. We talked about how good Austin Matthews is, and he might score 70 goals this year. Let's talk about how great Bedard is. I think he's second in the NHL in 5-on-5 goals,
which is so stupid.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's not even like he's on the like a power play much. I mean, for one thing, the Blackhawks power play sucks, and he has
He's a
no
playmaker
help.
on the power play too. They need him. He
Mm-hmm.
can't be the shot. Like,
Like
stupid.
everything, like the shots, the work ethic, like the strength. Like, how many times have you seen Connor Bedard just straight out knocked on his ass? Very few. I
Rare.
would, yeah, very rare. Like,
He's
it does
also
not
smart
happen.
about where he puts his body. Like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
see him like not to say that he's skittish, but like he
Yeah.
doesn't put himself in harm's way at all.
No.
Like
Yeah.
you won't
He's
see him with his
smart.
back turned on the wall with the defenseman
Mm-hmm.
harking down on him. Like he doesn't put himself in those situations, which I feel like you really don't see that a lot with, especially an 18-year-old. Like
Mm-hmm. He's
most
closer to
18-year-olds, like, can they get
18.
30 points this year?
Yeah.
Like he
He's
got
closer,
the
still closer to 18 than he is to 19. Like when Austin Matthew, the past few years, I feel coming into this year, we tempered our expectation with Bedard because we've seen the past few years, like even Jack Hughes, who's one of the best players in the HL now, only had I don't even think he had 30 points in his rookie year in like almost 70 games. Lafreniere is finally now getting it together when he was drafted in 2020. Owen Power is like he took a year in between, like he didn't play college after he got drafted. Yaroslav Kovsky is not good, but like he's still figuring out too. Like we were so blessed, like in 2016 with with Austin Matthews, how he broke in 2015 when Connor McDavid broke it, even 2014 13 when Ekblad made it, he was a solid defenseman. Then Nathan McKinnon, and I feel for a few years there we had those prospects where it's like, okay, let's not go crazy. Like these guys need time to develop. They're still teenagers, but Bedard has just come in, shattered every expectation. Again, like just going back, already I would say a top 5 shot in the NHL now. He's a threat. Teams know about him. He's adapting to like that first Colorado game of the season where he was frustrated against them, and then he comes back and scores a goal and is making plays and just everything you want out of a franchise player. He loves playing in Chicago, like Calder winner, and Calder winner doesn't always even reflect like even Panarin's a great player, but like McDavid should have won that Calder even though he was injured. But
he would have won if he was healthy.
Yeah, I mean the Calder isn't always indicative of of
I mean,
having
Shane Gostisbehere should have won.
Like Steve Mason won the Calder. Tyler Myers won the Calder. Like guys that had NHL careers, but they're not Hall of Famer guys. I mean, hell, if Wild fans think Faber is going to win the Calder, if he does, like so what? Like Bedard's going to be the better player. He's the franchise player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a guy that perennially puts up 50 goals, 100 plus points. Just wait till he gets help. Wait till his team is good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so over the fucking Calder conversation. Like it's so.
It's not even be a conversation. Like, and that's no.
They're trying to
disrespect
make it a conversation.
Yeah,
Which is a problem.
And that's no disrespect to Brock Faber, who has been excellent with the Wild. Like the Wild are like pushing back for playoff spot after a horrible start, and he's been a big part of that. Like I liked him in his draft year. I like Marco Rossi. Like Adam Fantilli is going to be great. Leo Carlson is going to be great. I'm glad that his injury wasn't as bad as they originally thought it was going to be. Logan Cooley's going to be great. I think we're in a time right now where there's so much young talent. Like, but Bedard just sticks out past all of them. There's a reason why he had all this hype and went first overall, and by many accounts was called a generational talent. So
he's lived up to it. That's for sure.
I would say he's past expectations. So we got Hearts, Norris, Vezina, Calder. What other trophy am I?
Selke, I got Barkov. He's been like his defensive analytics this year are actually like not real. Like they're all 100, I think. Like he's in the 100 percentile on everything. Like it's fucking nuts. And especially for a Florida team that like it seems like the offense is down a tad, but the defense has really just been locked down in net. And it shows. It shows in Bobrovsky's stats this year. Bobrovsky's at like a 915 or something. So once again, Florida's solid, and it's because of their captain, and he's worth every penny every year. And maybe he takes the Bergeron mantle of just taking the Selke every year. Can you imagine? Wins the Calder Trophy for a 4th year in a row. How the fuck does this keep happening?
Michael
yeah.
Bunting moment.
Oh my god.
I have not heard a peep from him since he's gone to Carolina.
From my buddy Chris tells me he's a Canes fan. He's one of their better forwards every night. So
Oh,
that's
look at
good.
that! Look at that! Look at that!
But yeah, Barkov's my Selke pick, and I don't think it's close this year.
Yeah, it's Barkov, and I mean, again, it's the Bergeron thing. He's that good, but shout out to Joel Eriksson because from what I've seen, he's doing well. I think
He's gonna be a finalist for the rest of his career. Like that's how good he is. He'll get his flowers one year. It'll happen.
Yeah,
I just think the slow start's gonna hinder him. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like, well, you were bad defensively, and that's why your coach got fired. And it's like, well, no, he really wasn't. It's just the goalie couldn't stop a beach ball, but.
Surely that's never happened for a team firing their coach.
Oh, for every bad coach, I'll give you a bad goalie. Jesus Christ. But yeah.
Speaking of which, that could go right into the next award. The Jack Adams.
Oh yeah.
Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, it's gotta be Rick. Hey, I will say, as of right now, at the season ending today, Torts has to be a finalist because what he's doing with Philly is insane.
Oh yeah.
But
that's the thing with Torts, like he has a shelf life, but if you want to kickstart a team and get them good, like that's what you do.
Also, if this team makes the playoffs, don't count out Spencer Carberry. I don't know how the fuck the Caps are winning games right now.
The Capitals are the weirdest team in the NHL to me. They're not scoring any goals, if it seems like, at least Ovechkin isn't, but they're okay defensively. Yeah, Charlie Lindgren's good.
Yeah, I always forget. They make no sense.
Yeah, they're the weirdest team in the NHL. Also, I forget how to say his name on Arizona. Andre Tourigny, I think that's how you say it. Another guy. But yeah, like the Canucks are off to their best start in franchise history, which is saying something because they won the President's Trophy back-to-back years in the early 2010s. Rick Bowness, even though I think he was gone for a while, that's another, like, Winnipeg's doing well as well. I'm trying to think.
I mean, you could always throw McClellan in there. You could throw I think Peter Laviolette should get a lot of credit for making this is what the Rangers should have been the last 3 years. Like this is what we knew the talent was there with New York, and it's finally showing. And I don't think because a lot of people were giving him shit after he left Washington. And like
I was too. I was one of them, but he's got the Rangers playing well.
He does this everywhere though. He did it with the Flyers. He did it with the Predators. He did it with who am I missing here? The Capitals.
He won the cup with the Canes.
Yeah, for God's sake. Like, the guy's a good coach, I think. And and we talk about it all the time. Coaches have shelf lives. Like, it's just what it is. You know what? Another dark horse, John Cooper. I think
he's keeping them in there.
Yeah,
keeping them in there. Keeping them in the fight.
They're in the hunt right now. Like they have 39 points. I think they're sitting right outside of playoff spot.
They're gonna make the playoffs. I'm not worried.
Oh no, they're the AC. They're the AC right now. Yeah. So they'll be fine. Like that's not a team you want to play. And he's got. I feel like the talent. They're at the point in their dynasty-ish thing, like the Hawks were in like 2015, where they just can't fill out the roster anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like you got to give the coaching staff credit for getting the most out of like 2 games of Connor Sheary and Mikey Eason. Like, dude's like he lost. They've had a lot of roster turnover, and he's kept them going every time. Also, he made Calvin Connolly again.
And Hayden Fleury, don't you forget. Former top 10 pick ahead of, I think, William Nylander, Nikolai.
Hell yeah.
And incredible longevity too. He's been there since 2013, and then like the next closest head coach is like I think Mike Sullivan on Pittsburgh.
Dude, Jared Bednar's like top 5.
Yeah, I think he's number 3.
Richardson's up there. Richardson's like in the top half now, which is
he's already in the top half. It just shows you how much like turnover there is with coaching.
And I feel like it's not just hockey, like every sport. I feel like coaches do not have the shelf lives that they the leash that they used
to. Well, it's the easiest thing to do if your team is underperforming. Just get a new voice as opposed to trading all their players. Like even the Blue Jays got rid of their manager last year.
And like, who's to say it doesn't work? The Wild are the hottest team in the league right now. The Oilers are the second hottest team in the league right now. They both fired their coach, and I don't think either of them deserve to get fired. Obviously, you have your misses. Like fucking Ottawa did that too, and they're still
way too late. Unbelievable. Yeah, they deserve
2 years too late, bro. Yeah. Come on. After it didn't work when you traded for DeBrincat, that dude should have been out the door. But that's not here nor there. Like that dude did not do anything to warrant keeping his job.
Oh, what's his face on Detroit? What's his name?
Lalonde?
Yeah, he should be in there too. Detroit's playing well.
Oh, yeah.
I feel there's so many good coaches, but I would go Rick Tocchet on the Canucks.
Oh yeah, Tocchet. I would have never expected Tocchet to get the Canucks to play this good. I thought they would be
Yeah.
like in the middle, like in the pack for the wild card.
Like
but
at least, yeah.
they are
But they're like
leaps and bounds better.
they are number one in the Pacific, the hardest division in the NHL now. Don't care.
Granted, it also
That-
helps when Brock Besser gets back to what he used to do. JT Miller's back on a 100-point pace. Patterson's playing like a fucking dog.
That's
as
the
usual.
thing. We've said this with the Canucks. They're never ever bad enough to be like where the Blackhawks are, but they're not good enough.
Because they spend money too.
But like, yeah, and like the way they spent their money, but like it looks like all their top players are doing everything you would expect them to be. But except Elias Patterson is coming to the Blackhawks. That's happening.
That's such a dumb
Please.
quote, dude.
Please
Talk about stirring the pot right before
Oh.
the new year. That's so funny. That fucking Barstool quote.
Patterson.
But, hey, I'm not gonna like if it was Biz saying it, I might have taken more credit. Like Biz or
Yeah,
Whit
even,
saying
like,
it, they've been
Whitney,
pretty
yeah.
good about that, but I don't know who that guy was who said it.
They know players, they know sources.
Dude,
like,
they were
know.
honored about the Babcock shit. Remember, they were the
Yeah.
first ones to say something. Like,
Yeah.
like yeah, they might be fucking meatheads, but they get good
Yeah.
sources. I will give.
They're
them
just they're
credit.
hockey guys. Like they
Oh, they are
embody
hockey guys.
what hockey they
Like-
embody what hockey culture is like to a
Mhm.
T. Like,
And I feel
every
like they've gotten better
stereotype.
over the years. Like I feel like they've gotten
yeah,
a lot more professional with
yeah.
not professional because there's still a bunch of like it's I don't know. You just
But they
you
don't
wanna do
seem
better
like
for the ads. You know what I
they're
mean?
more they're more reasonable. I think. Like,
Yes,
they're not
yes.
complete. Just assholes. Like
No,
I feel like I don't know, but
it's okay.
I don't mind spitting chiclets. Like a Barstool as a whole, I don't really like, but like I can at least.
I don't fuck with the rest of them, but Spit and
Yeah,
Chicklets, like they get great interviews out of the players.
They know how to bring the most out of the players because there's obviously a comfort level there. Like I can at least respect what they do.
100%.
Anyways, but yeah, I'd probably go Rick Tocchet for I'm just going all Canucks for worst.
I can't even blame you, honestly. They're so good this year. It's ridiculous.
Like the fact Elias Pettersson is kind of an afterthought. Like I'm pretty sure he's up there in point scoring, but like when I think of the Canucks now, I'm thinking Demko, I'm thinking Hughes, I'm thinking Besser, I'm thinking Miller before a Pettersson.
I'll go with Torts for my coach of the year just to be different, but I agree. Like at this point, Tocchett's going to run away with it.
Yeah, but I think Tortorella has won it a couple times already. How many? Has there even been a coach that's won Jack Adams with 3 different teams? Because he won one in Tampa Bay, I think, all those years.
God, if the award was around back in the day, Mike Keenan would have. Mike Keenan would have had it with like.
Mike
40
Keenan is
50.
like the worst version of like John Tortorella. Well, the worst version of any kind of head coach. But he brought the Blackhawks to the Cup final back in '92.
Broke the fucking streak for the Rangers. Like
Fit-
he's got a crazy ass resume. He's just got the shortest shelf life I've ever seen with a coach in my life.
Yeah, if it's like a do or die year and you need a guy to like
Oh yeah.
be the head coach, that's probably your guy. And I'm pretty sure he's still coaching in Russia, and he's won like the Garden Cups there. So,
Oh yeah, he's just like one of the all-time great coaches. He's just fucking whack job half the time.
well,
And
even
that's
from what I
nice.
heard,
Sometimes you need that. Like,
yeah,
like fucking look at football. Nick Sirianni's like not the like Nick Sirianni's a fucking head case, but he wins and he's a good coach. So can't
sometimes
knock
I
it.
think you need like a boomer head coach or manager, like Texas Rangers winning with Bruce Bochy. Like he's almost in his 70s.
Dusty
Like
Baker
sometimes you
getting
just,
his, ring a couple years ago.
yeah, sometimes you just need a boomer in there.
Hey man, they get they'll listen. They'll get the players to listen. That's for sure. Not gonna fucking disrespect me, you little twerp.
Yeah. Like even Scotty I think there was this quote about Scotty Bowman. Like I feel he won like 10 Stanley Cups as a head coach. Like he was part of probably the greatest NHL teams of all times, those late 70s Habs that had like 15 Hall of Famers. He was on the back-to-back Penguins teams, and he was with the Detroit. Like that's got to be 10, if not right close to 10, like 8 or 9. Unbelievable. But the quote with him was always, "You hate him for 364 days of the year, and then the last day you got your cup ring. You got to lift the cup."
Hell yeah.
Let's move on. President's Trophy prediction. Okay, I'll go Vancouver too.
Might as well just clean sweep it right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Rangers. I think the Rangers are mainly just because I think Vancouver's gonna beat up Vancouver and Vegas are gonna beat up on each other in LA.
Oh man,
And that's
yeah.
gonna knock
And
down their win
Edmonton
totals.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Rangers
like
are
that
the good
division
one.
is
Yeah.
stupid right now. So I'll go Rangers. Like I said, Laviolette's done a great job over there, and Panarin Panarin could be a dark horse for the Hart too, low key. He has been fucking phenomenal this year.
Shaving a head can change a guy.
Red man to bald man, gotta love it.
Yeah, there's never been a TV show about that, so that's gonna be the first time.
Jesse,
And said, yeah, we have to shoot.
Jesse, we need to shoot the puck on the power play.
Jesse, you need to sauce the puck to me.
Jesse, you scored 30 goals in this league before. Use that fucking wrist shot.
You know that like video of him where it's like, you didn't follow my instructions. Like, well, Heil Hitler, bitch. That's like them on the bench where like they like turn over the puck. You didn't follow my instructions. Well, Heil
Panarin and Grice on the fucking Rangers bench.
No, that would have been no. If that were a few years ago in the Rangers, that would have been the head coach and Tony DeAngelo. Brendan Lemieux and Tony DeAngelo. What was their podcast name again? I don't remember.
Oh, probably like your dumb liberal podcast or some shit.
Like, we're not
no
part of the
snowflakes here.
Yeah. No sheeple, no snowflakes. If you're vaxxed, don't even think about it.
I miss Tony DeAngelo just being a fucking idiot on Twitter and everyone dunking.
He's on Carolina now,
so
right?
Funny. Not like the blatant racism and shit, but like just like when they made when the one guy made the fake burner for like a year and would tweet after every Rangers game, like, I fucking told you guys. Oh god. Also shout out Chuck Fletcher. He traded 3 draft picks for that idiot.
Remember we were in Montreal when I think we're going to the second day of the draft. I remember sitting in the car and I'm just like, did you see the trade? And you're like, yeah, I can't believe Tony DeAngelo for 3 like 2 second-round picks.
Yeah. Like, what is that? And then he went back to the Hurricanes. So like, this fucking league.
It's nice that they have like an actual good GM now with Danny Briere. That's nice.
Oh,
and they're doing underrated story. Yeah, underrated story. Like, again, bring it back to the Masterton. Sean Couturier. The fact he's playing and playing well.
Yeah, Masterton's going to have a fucking battle for it this year now. I'm thinking about it. A lot of guys who are coming back from big injuries. I wanted to check something with Philly real quick. Hold on. Where the hell is their cap friendly? Why? There it is. It's like they're in the middle hiding behind Carolina. Like, just like real life. Except they're ahead of them. But yeah, all right. That's what I wanted to check. They have Florida's first round pick this year from the Giroux trade still.
Yeah,
they have 2 firsts this year, 3 seconds, and they're second in the division. Danny Briere might be GM of the year, low key, if that keeps up.
You might have to pry that out of Lou Lamorielle's dead hands before he wins that.
Oh my god. Who would be GM of the year though? That's a good question. I'm like trying to think. Who made like a big
Rob Blake on the Kings would be a good one.
You know what? That the Dubois trade, Talbot. I'd probably agree with that, honestly. Like, because I don't.
Biggest GM. It's not McCrimmon. Yeah, it is McCrimmon. It's not.
You know what? Low-key, Zito made a lot of moves to that roster, and they're arguably better than they are last year. Like, he shed a lot of salary, brought in guys like Rodriguez and Mikola, who were both really good.
I wouldn't want to play
OEL.
Panthers in the playoffs.
I mean, hell, you could fucking put Vancouver in there. Like,
Patrick Alvin, hell yeah, clean sweep, baby. It's like the big 4 in the Oscars: best picture, best director, best actress, best actor. That's what the Canucks are doing.
Hell yeah, yeah. So those are the ones I would think of. Like, GM of the year if they make the playoffs could be Detroit.
Yeah, Stevie Y. Yeah,
Stevie Y made a bunch of moves and bringing in Kane, and Kane, if they could fucking win while he scores, that'd be nice.
Yeah. I was gonna say Jim Nill, but he accepted his trophy at the draft last year. We watched that, and then
he's going back to back like Lou Lambs, baby. Let's go.
Watch out, Lou Lamorielle. There's a new competitor
coming for your head, bud. Better watch it. Nah, give it to Brad Tree Living. He got fucking Brian Reeves.
Brad Tree live love. And
can you believe it?
I know there's no trophy, but Sam Lafferty for Selke.
Let's go. That's all I needed to hear.
No coincidence that Sam Lafferty or the Canucks got Sam Lafferty and had a good team now.
Sam Lafferty's like half point a game. It's actually fucking hilarious.
I love it. I
He's
love it.
gonna have
so
a career
much.
high in points by like Valentine's Day. Oh, good
Love
for
it.
him.
It's literally, it's so funny how him and Jason Dickinson swap spots essentially now.
Dude, and it's a contract year for both of them. Like, so happy for those guys. They're gonna get
Oh yeah.
very
I love
nice
it.
raises, I would have to think. Especially
Mhm.
Lafferty, if he's gonna be a free agent, dude. Like, some team's gonna give him a 3x4.
Dude, no, I've seen it now. He is going to get the Miles Wood contract.
Who gives it to him?
Or even
Nashville.
better, Nick Paul contract.
But who gives
like-
it to him?
Sam Lafferty.
Dude, he screams a Philly player, low key.
I was gonna say that Philly's a good one. What other teams?
Nashville, I feel like, would give out those stupid long-term deals.
Dallas. I could see Dallas doing that. I don't know why.
Puts him with Foxa, and they're just annoying as shit on the penalty kill. Oh my god. Arizona says, "Fuck it, we need that grit on the fourth line."
Yeah.
Actually, I lied. It's the Blackhawks.
We're
bringing them home.
back, baby. We're bringing the band back together.
Got us a second. He got to go get a playoff run, 2 playoff runs in, and he comes home for a pay raise to be back with Jason Dickinson and Colin Blackwell.
Let's go, man.
Honestly, the most annoying fourth line ever. Those 2 fucking little jitterbugs in between Dickinson. Good
Water
lord.
bugs, yeah. Jitterbugs, water bugs, yeah. I know we're almost at 2 hours. I love how it said I don't want to go 2 hours, like because we weren't gonna do the red stories, but we're almost at 2 hours anyway. So let's end it off with the grandiose Stanley Cup final predictions. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So for the finals, I have Dallas coming out of the West. They've been my cup pick all year, still are. I have not seen anything to make me change my pick on that. They're my cup winner too. The team they beat in the East, I feel like, is an interesting one because there's a world where I could see Florida get right back to the cup final, especially if Bob gets on a heater. But
Yeah.
I think this is the year the Rangers maybe squeak through. Like,
Ooh.
maybe this is the year they finally get over the hump because the East,
So
as
wide
good
open.
as it is, there's
So
no
wide
world
open.
beater in there.
Yeah.
Boston's got their issues. Toronto's got their issues.
Tampa doesn't
Florida's got their
really
issues.
scare me as much as they used to.
Carolina
yeah, so wide
can't stop a
open.
nosebleed. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, if the Devils get it together, that like part of me could see a really hot Devils team getting to the Cup final. If they
2000 Cup final rematch.
dude, I'm here for it. Devils Stars, fuck it, let's do it. All right, I'm saying the Devils go on that crazy second half run, squeak into like the 3rd seed, and just shit on everyone. Yep, that's my guess.
My dad
I know
would
the
love that.
Devils aren't in a playoff spot. They're 1 point out though, so like they're right there.
They're right there. They'll make the playoffs. I know they will. They just need a save. Vitek Vanacek just needs to be average.
Hell yeah,
They'll be
or they can
fine.
trade for Peter Mrazek.
Hell yeah. And
Dude, someone just needs to trade for Soros and just
Hey,
fucking get
hey,
it up over
Simon Nemec for Peter Mrazek. I think that's a fair trade.
there. Nah, give us Dawson Mercer. We finally won the
Sure.
trade or won the draft. Got
We
both
won
of
the
them.
draft. We got both of them. Hell yeah. Yeah, I talked about 2000 Cup final rematch. I'm a sucker for rematches. I think last year or the year before I predicted Carolina and Edmonton. And not only just Cup final rematch, but having a revenge. So I think I was thinking 1994 rematch of
Rangers,
Vancouver
Canucks.
versus the Rangers. Like I'm all in on the Canucks right now.
I'm well aware you're all in on the Canucks. Clean sweep of the awards over here.
If you couldn't tell, now you can. But I'm gonna skip forward 20 years and go to 2014.
I thought you were
And
Kings Rangers.
the 2 big
Ooh.
cities. But this time history goes a different way. I have the New York Rangers winning the Stanley Cup over the LA Kings in the 2024 Cup final.
Dude,
You're welcome,
that'd be
Batman. I
sick.
bet he would love that. Yeah.
dude, that'd be sick. Honestly, that'd be a good Cup final too. US TV ratings are fucking.
That's what I was gonna say. You're welcome, Batman. Yeah.
And then if they get Vancouver, like Canada's ratings are gonna be through the fucking roof again.
I
Like,
still think Vancouver or the Rangers would be like good ratings wise. Like
it'd be good across the board, honestly.
yeah.
Biggest American market.
It would be-
second
it would
biggest
be-
Canadian market. Third biggest
Yeah.
Canadian market.
Third, yeah, I think. Third or second. And then
Yeah,
Montreal.
'cause-
Toronto. Toronto obviously number one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would say are they bigger than Edmonton? Yeah, probably.
Well, Vancouver is bigger. Edmonton, yeah. Edmonton's probably like fifth. It's just kind of funny.
It shouldn't be, but they are.
Yeah, at least in just terms of market. But yeah, I think Vancouver, New York would be good for ratings because I think in 1994 the ratings were really good, especially in Canada, and like that 1994 Stanley Cup final might be one of the best of all time. Like I feel was so often with the Stanley Cup final, like there's been some good ones, but there hasn't been one where it's like it goes the full set. I've always said this. I want a Game 7 overtime in the Stanley Cup final to decide the cup. I want to. If I can't get that, give me a good competitive 7-game series. Even the last couple that have gone to Game 7, like St. Louis blew out the Bruins, the Bruins blew out the Canucks. The last 7-game Stanley Cup final series I can think of that was good, like from 1 to 7, was Pittsburgh Detroit, and that was almost 15 years ago.
So. I don't know. Boston Vancouver was pretty good.
Yeah, but there's a lot of blowouts by the Bruins. Like the games in Vancouver were close, but like Bruins won like 8-0, I think, and like 9-2 or something.
Yeah, Bruins have a tendency of doing that in 7-game series, don't they? They fucking beat the shit out of the Blues in Game 6. I remember.
Yeah, and they did in like Game 3 too. Yeah, I remember that.
Lopsided series.
Weird. I want to see that. Like I want to see like 5 1-goal games, like a couple overtimes in there. I'm going LA, New York in
hell yeah.
Like and the Rangers, they won it.
Rangers.
The Rangers. But it's Mount Vancouver.
Fucking whatever their stupid chant is. Hey.
It's a power play goal.
They score.
They score.
Hell yeah.
All right. Let's end it off here. So those are our predictions for the NHL coming into 2024. We'll do a whole episode where we reread stories next time. So yeah, this is the last, or at least like regular podcast of the year. I'm planning on getting out a compilation of the most epic moments of our podcast in 2023. That'll be out on New Year's Eve. Our first episode will be reading Reddit stories. And you know what? I got it. I got my joy back. I got the hockey bug back. The other day I was watching like playoff highlights from like almost 10 years ago. Like I watched 2013 Hawks run, 2015 Hawks run. I watched some other playoff highlights. It shows you how much the game has evolved. And like maybe like especially I was just like so much nostalgia. Like all the announcers, like hearing Doc Emmerich, you remember Dave. Yeah,
Dave Strader is one of my favorite announcers of all time. Rest in peace. Fucking love that guy.
Hearing Bob Cole. And the pass, score! Like,
dude, Bob Cole and Dave Strader have some of the most iconic Blackhawk calls of all time.
Oh, Bob Cole is the voice of hockey in Canada. Gio Sakic, and that makes it 5-2 Canada. Oh,
I just love Hansus wins it for Chicago.
Yeah. Even like, I think Jim Houston gets a lot of crap, but even like
just hearing Kapanen.
Yeah. Kasperi Kapanen, but like hearing his name, hearing his voice in a big game is what I was trying to say. Like it feels like a big game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Doc was so good, man. I miss him. Truly great. But yeah, just seeing all those games, hearing all those voices, like some players I haven't seen or heard of in a while. I'm like nostalgia. I'm looking forward to the 2024 Cup playoffs. I'm ready for playoff hockey already, but there's still a few months to go. There's gonna be the trade deadline and all that stuff, but I think sooner than you know it, we'll have playoff hockey. I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah!
Got my joy back. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us in this year of 2023. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of inconsistent with the podcast this year. Next year, I want to be a lot more consistent with our schedule and like get more interviews out. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to this show. And if you haven't already, give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, there's Amazon, there's probably a bunch of various other platforms. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating. Hit the notification bell. Also like our videos. All that good stuff. So thank you for tuning in. And we shall see you in 2024. Peace out, y'all.